to come with the chainsaw.
Got a demon, what am I? It's time for me to choose my path. The power of my God hand, no evildoer will get past. Hand to hand or fist to fist, kick the nuts or twist your wrist. God power keeps my pimp hand strong, so trust me or you won't last very long. Dragon kick your ass into the Milky Way. Milky Way. Don't act like you don't like the Bulbasaur. Bulbasaur. My arm, my arm, my arm, my arm, my arm, my arm. The summon of the powers of the God hand. I lost a limb in a fight, but don't worry, babe, I'll be cool. The ultimate power of a god is now my secret. My defenses are impregnable. My style is impetuous. If it's too much, I'll grovel at your feet. I beg for mercy when I feel the heat. Jaw-dropping attacks from my roulette wheel. Apocalyptic beatdowns from the God hand. My arm, my arm, my arm, my arm, my arm, my arm. I summon up the powers of the God hand. Everybody wants a piece. Who's next? Don't be a fool. Hyperactive fighting styles, so slick they will make you drool. The God hand helps me work out my stress. It's overpowering, I must confess. The only person who it doesn't work on is the girl who got me into this, Olivia. Slicing through thugs with my shockwave. Shockwave! More beheading than a guillotine. Head slicer. Head slicer. My arm, my arm, my arm, my arm, my arm, my arm. I summon up the powers of the God hand.
Hello, everybody. I am your Immortal Afro Josh. You are watching Immortal Afro Gaming, now gaming for the boys. I'm joined with my good friend here, H3 the Game, Herb. How you doing, man?
Enjoying this Women's Day.
Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful Women's Day. Just hoping this isn't the day we get canceled today. So,
Well, you know, fuck it.
I am on edge on what's about to happen. So we'll see.
Well, you know, I just deem it necessary because, you know, every day we get pushed a little bit further to the edge, and I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Just a swan dive off of it. You know?
Josh,
Like,
we're not going to talk bad about women on Women's Day. We're not going
uh,
to do it. We're not
this
going to
is
do it.
this is the best day. And we're not talking bad. We're not talking bad. We're just talking, we're being honest. And you know, women love an honest man, right? Right. Yeah. So let's let's just, you know, we'll go from there. Kuroki Samurai, Billy Donuts, welcome. Hope you guys are having a good day. We got quite a lot has happened. Sorry, we've taken an impromptu month off of making videos because, man, I guess we're just getting old, bro. It's just like it's hard to stay awake a lot. But
Just working too much.
yeah, but we got a lot of topics to cover. A shitload of things has happened in the past month that we got to do some catching up on. We'll cover most of it in this stream, but before anything, above all else, we send our deepest condolences. Rest in peace to the godfather of all game not gaming anime influence worldwide, Mr. Worldwide, Akira Toriyama. Rest in
Yes.
power. He
Oh
recently
man,
passed away, and that was definitely a blow I was not expecting to hear. But we lost a an angel, a god amongst men, the goat.
man. I think that Dragon Ball was actually the first anime that I've seen as a kid. That and Speed Racer. But I remember as a kid, Dragon Ball used to come on. I was like, man, what is this? I was like, this is pretty cool. But it would come on so early in the morning that I would like
Hmm.
fall asleep on it. I didn't realize until like later, okay, this is what this is. But man,
Yeah,
this is a huge blow. Very unexpected.
yeah. Like I've seen plenty of anime, but Dragon Ball was the anime that got me into anime. I was able to identify what it was and what I, excuse me, what I liked about it so much. It was very influential, and a lot of the childhoods of people in the West. Dragon Ball Z is what made anime. It brought it to
Mhm.
worldwide appeal, and there's no understating that. Akira Toriyama is like very talented,
And
very influential man.
some people don't know anything about anime, but they know Goku. They
Yeah,
know Goku.
yep, and they are fans, like die-hard fans. Like Goku is recognized just as much as Superman or Spider-Man or Batman.
And see,
Yeah.
and one thing touching on that, like every year, for the last couple of years, there's been a Goku balloon in like the Christmas parades and the Thanksgiving parades,
Yeah.
which is crazy. He's flying up there, and you got Batman and Superman and
Spider-Man and
Spider Man, but he's definitely up there.
yeah. There's a lot of really well-regarded anime that have come and gone, but Dragon Ball has always stuck. Like
Yeah, like
I have
even. Well, go ahead.
well, I have my gripes with how it's evolved over the years, but there's no denying. Like I talk to my friend Tyrell all the time, and he says like, dude, one thing that you can never take away from Goku and Dragon Ball Z is that is the anime. That's the grandfather, the gateway anime for
Bro,
90% of Western audiences.
so I remember in elementary school, we were printing out Dragon Ball Z pictures in elementary school and
Yep.
drawing and imitating Akira Toriyama's work.
Yeah.
And me as an artist, like growing up, like I said, I was drawing like Dragon Ball in elementary, and I kind of learned anatomy from his work. Like a basic level of it, just drawing his
Hmm.
stuff. And a lot of us in elementary up to middle school, we all kind of learned how to draw, imitating Akira. So
Yeah.
he it's like his impact is like way greater than just you know the anime itself. He's impacted a lot of people. Um, one thing I got, then I'll stop ranting.
Yeah.
but
No, not ranting, reminiscing.
reminiscing.
Yeah.
But man, I don't know if you guys know the bodybuilder Chris Jones, but he was talking about the hyperbolic time chamber, and it was
Hmm.
like, okay, you can go in the hyperbolic time chamber and train, and 1 year would pass in the hyperbolic time chamber, but 1 day would pass in like the real time or real day, right?
Yeah.
So he was going on to say that it just shows what you can do with your time if you just stay focused, even just for a year. You can focus and you can actually accomplish something. But in the real life, of course, we got this and we got that. So if
Yeah.
we can minimize some of the things, our distractions and things that get in our way, we can really improve as people. And it was crazy that he got that from just the hyperbolic time chamber and what they did in the Dragon Ball anime. And there's a lot of deep stuff in Dragon Ball. I know a lot of people say it's not deep, but there
Yeah.
is a lot of deep stuff in it. But you just got to think about it.
Yeah, and it's not something to be slept on. Like like I said, you can have your misgivings about the direction it's gone with Super or GT, because like those were. GT was very infamous, but
Mhm.
what remains is that Dragon Ball Z was so influential to the point to where it really brought the best out of the youth. Because back when we talk about it, back when anime was for nerds and we were just the nerds only ones watching it, Dragon Ball Z was always the exception, no matter how, oh yeah, you watch this or you watch that, but if you watch Dragon Ball Z, we're all in agreement and alignment. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, this shit is tight. No
and like
matter.
I said, it don't matter if it's shitty, if it's good, if it's bad, or it's the greatest thing ever, or the greatest
Mhm.
movie ever. It's like we all love it, you know. And like you said, some people don't like the direction that it went, but we still sat down and watched the shit.
Oh yeah, every time. Didn't even matter. It's like, oh man, I can't believe the Majin Buu saga. Man, that fight between him and Washington was tight though. Man,
It's like
oh,
blue hair, pink hair, white
what?
hair.
Even if you didn't watch it, you knew what happened.
It's
And
like, all right, I'll sit and watch
I give it.
it.
I know it's bad, but
Yeah,
I didn't watch it, but I knew what happened. I know
yeah,
who Journey is. I know
yeah,
who.
exactly.
So it's like, yeah,
You know who the new Broly is.
yep. The female Broly doesn't
Yeah,
matter. But like we said, man, rest in power, Akira Toriyama. You'll be missed. Give him a moment of silence, guys. He was one of the best. You will be missed forever. I think it was this clip from One Piece that someone posted. It's like the only way you could kill somebody is if they are forgotten, and he will never be forgotten.
yeah,
So he will
uh,
live on.
yeah. And I read somewhere that the guy that's actually continuing his work, you know, Akira Toriyama told him that Goku is in your hands now. So
Well,
Goku ain't going nowhere. He's still gonna be around.
yeah, I'm pretty sure that he'll continue his legacy to the best of his ability, and we'll all be behind him, criticizing or loving it. Doesn't matter. We're
Yeah,
all we'll be along with them, along for the ride until the end of time.
yeah,
But moving on, there's some I'm pretty sure you guys are looking at the title of this, like, all right, Josh, now that you got that sentimental thing out the way, what's with this misogynist uh, uh, title on today of all days? Well, first of all, I knew it was International Women's Day, but I was completely like out of it until my good friend Herbert here was like, we should stream, and then I got the
yeah,
idea. I was like, you know what? We haven't streamed for a month. I got to make up for a lot of this. So you'll
yeah.
notice today we're streaming under Gaming for the Boys. So this one's for the boys. And let's see, what do I want to start with here?
Hey,
There's
I think your camera went out there.
still has it up for me.
Okay, well, this might be my screen. It might just be my screen.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Yeah, I
they
can
coming,
see you.
they coming after me, man.
Who's coming after you? Oh,
uh,
the sweet babies.
yeah, man, I guess so. It's like, damn, like what
It's
happened?
like this not. It's not even let him get started.
I know, right? Like, no, man, because it was just a tab with with its own. That's weird. Uh, okay, testing. Am I still here?
Yeah, you're still there. You coming in loud and clear.
Okay, that's weird. But okay, well, anyway, but yeah. So one of the big thing, and this is kind of like ongoing. There's several facets to this story, so we're gonna just kind of go along with the timeline and certain points of interest with throughout the this whole debacle.
Yeah.
The the Baby Inc. services rot gaming.
So,
And yeah,
well, go ahead. I'll ask my questions after you finish.
well, to try to get to kind of do like a condensed explanation of what's going down, Sweet Baby Inc. is just one of many services that have been developed over the course of what is essentially 10 years of shit that's been going on in the gaming industry that is prioritizing things like diversity, inclusivity, all this gay shit, right? And Sweet Baby, although it is the topic of today, like it is the most top the highlight of the month, it's actually just one of many iterations. It's a symptom of a bigger issue that's been plaguing the gaming industry for, like I said, well over a decade at this point. Started, I became aware of it back in 2014, but it really started, I believe, in about 2012. And if any of you guys were like paying attention or around back then, it was known as Gamergate. And
Mm.
short version of Gamergate was when gamers became very aware of a collusion effort between games media and this other entity, that they were colluding, sharing information, manipulating review scores, and all this really weird shit. And it centered around certain key players, Zoe Quinn and Anita Sarkeesian. And
Mm.
there's a much bigger timeline explanation for this, but I'm just kind of giving you the light version of it.
Yeah.
So now what people are, we're kind of under the impression that we are now creeping up upon Gamergate 2, which is more of the same. Like there's collusion, people are learning about Sweet Baby and what they're doing because the influence that they have on gaming is way more prevalent now. Even I'm so gay, can't even think straight. All right, but but yeah, because like, and that's what they want, and we've seen, and this again, this applies to more than just gaming that people realize. But as you said, because I think Herbert, it was a while ago when you said you started watching some content creators, namely Endymion and
Yeah. Yeah.
what's
Those boys are on it.
yeah,
Demion and I think Geeks and Gamers. Uh,
Doomcock,
Doomcock. Yeah, Doomcock really on it. Like
yeah.
real hard.
Yeah, and so like the thing is, like these guys, they are the current generation of real games journalists, or media journalists, breaking down what's actually happening throughout gaming and entertainment. Whereas
Yeah.
in the past, it was a different group of people, namely the guy who really kicked off and pretty much coined Gamergate back then. His name was Mr. Medicare, known as Internet Aristocrat, several years ago.
Mm.
So like that's like the OG, like to me, he is like the premier real games journalist. But he coined it way back then. Really, like, and he broke a lot of this shit down, and then from him came all these other content creators at the time. We were like, yo, who's Zoe Quinn? Who's Anita Sarkeesian? What's Depression Quest? What's that? Oh, you mean to tell me IGN, GameSpot, all these massive gaming entities that we trusted for our gaming reviews and information turned out to be uh lying, manipulating pieces of shit who did really funky shit in the background and full of all these people. All that shit broke out.
Bro, that's so heartbreaking and too. Like when you find out that your favorite gaming magazine is like really shady and the reviews that they have are not based on actual, playing a game and enjoying a game or not. It was based off of okay, who can pay me the most or who can influence me the most.
Yeah,
Uh, it's heartbreaking when you find that out for the first time.
yeah, because you don't want to believe it, because Cross broke it down to me back in 2014, and when he first told me, it was one of those things. It's like, come on, dude, like. And at the time, me and Cross were really good friends back then. So on one hand, I was like, this makes no sense. But on the other, I'm like, well, my friend Cross isn't the type to just come up with something ridiculous. There's got to be more to it. And then when he made the connection to Internet Aristocrat, who I did watch at the time, but I kind of fell out because he had a habit of killing a channel and starting another one, and you just had to find him. So, and then once it all started coming together, I was like, holy shit. And then, just like there is now, there was a whole thing of like, something, but because you are like one person out of 1,000, no one's gonna believe you. You're gonna go around here telling people
Mm.
like, "Hey, this is happening," and they're gonna be like, "Yeah, that's ridiculous. Why would IGN do that?"
Yeah,
Or who's this person? Like, I don't believe. Get out of here. You're just being a hater. And then
yeah,
slowly over time, the masses, when it in gaming, only grew, and so that their influence, and then people started to just kind of follow the narrative of, hey, if you question this stuff, you must be a really bad person. Like you must hate women or something, or maybe you're a racist or something. And then the more that happened, the more people were less likely to talk about it. And then it affected YouTube because YouTube was an entirely different entity back then. And I think one of those eras was uh, when they started the apocalypse. That was part of it. So there was like a whole. It was crazy, and
really.
so yeah, it was a whole thing, but no one really believed it because the people who were talking about it would either get silenced, yeeted off the internet, or shouted into oblivion because it's like, yeah, you just sound like a crazy person in the middle of New York saying like, "Yo, no, for real, this is happening," and then everyone's walking past you like, "Okay, this guy sounds kind of racist. He keeps saying, X, Y, and Z," and so now the chicken has finally come home to roost, and it couldn't be more obvious. And so people like me, like I haven't made too many videos about it. If you check my channel, there's a few videos, but it was one of those things where you got so discouraged. It was like no one's gonna fucking believe me. And yeah, because like I made it back when Battlefield 5 came out. I think it was Battlefield 5. And they had this whole thing where it's like, oh, in multiplayer chat, you could chat or talk about whatever. You could type black man, Asian man, but if you typed white man, it would censor it.
What?
And yeah, like I'll link you the video. It's on my channel. This was like 4 or 5 years ago, because that's when I was like, we have to talk about it. That was like one of the first instances of a major mask slip, because people was like, why is that so specific that those words will get? Because I think Angry Joe talked about it. I was making a video response to him where he was one of the people that I was like, Joe, how can you not see this? We're talking about it. He's like, yeah, no, you guys are crazy. They caught him on stream one day, and people were like, dude, type it in the chat. We're not being crazy. And then when he typed it, it was like, all right, guys, I see it. Okay. All right, guys. But it's like even that wasn't enough because it was just like, and something similar happened. I'm pretty sure you heard about the whole thing. Act Man versus Az, versus
Yeah,
Babyface.
yeah,
It, literally the same thing, because and just as a perfect example. Here, hold on, let me change the thing right here, because since kind of going into that. So Act Man is very similar in scope and scale to Angry Joe. He's a
yeah,
massive YouTuber who covers video games. So if he talks about something, everyone and their mama is going to cover it, talk about it, and share it, all that good stuff.
yeah,
So Starfield comes out, and again, this is just like the whole communist sweet baby shit has pretty much swept over the industry at large. Like largely, many games are influenced by this gay shit.
yeah.
And so when Starfield comes out, and it's not associated that Sweet Baby is directly involved with what happened to Starfield, but we're like, it's the same thing, dude. Just because it wasn't this company doesn't mean it's not happening. It's like it's any push for things like diversity, inclusion, pronouns, and all that shit. So
Mm.
Starfield comes out, and as at Hill versus Babyface talks about it, and he's just like, "Yo, I look. There was a time where we could just play video games and not have to worry about being inundated with all this weird shit, you know." Like that was,
Mm.
and so rightfully so, he called it out. And so what happened? What happened to him is the same thing that's been happening to us over the past decade. Like he would say something, Act Man would, pretty much give him the, oh man, you sound pretty crazy talking about that nonsense. It's just pronouns. What's the big deal? Because and I personally don't believe this. I don't believe that Act Man can be making videos about games for this long and not know about that shit. But that
Mhm.
aside, he pretty much dunks on As. And As gets blown up because that's how these people operate.
Yeah.
Ackman, whether he was directly involved or not, because he's a bigger channel and he pretty much, you know, shat on As
Hmm.
started to get all of this heat, and it
Yeah.
came in the form of media coverage because that's how these people operate. They have all these different avenues that they control. So then what they do is they zero in on
Really? It was that big?
yeah, because they were
Oh
covering
wow.
on like the Daily Show and all types of stuff.
What?
Hmm. Yeah, because As he went viral, and so As he handled it like a champ. You know, he did pretty good, but it'd be, I'd be lying to say like, look, that's rough for anybody. You know, no matter how, you can have like a strong, iron jawline or whatever, but to get dogpiled like that, because that actually led to the death of a video game developer back when this was like going on, and no one, once again, no one believed him, so he killed himself.
So wow.
Yeah.
So I don't know. So I seen like a little bit of like, the drama or whatever. So I know the Act Man, he was trashing Ass, but what exactly did Ass say?
As was pretty much saying that the inclusion of pronouns in Starfield, as well as some underlying narrative push for characters, because there was a character in there that was like originally a man but was cloned to be a woman or
What?
some shit. Yeah, some weird shit. Because like it was. That's what they were associating, and so
Oh no.
and that's what As was pointing out. But the Act Man pretty much came up and he was just like, yeah, nah, dude, you're tripping. I hope they add more of that shit in games, just so we can watch you have a bitch fit, a conniption fit or whatever, because you just you're acting weird right now, dude. And so when that happened, it's open. When that happened, all that went down and blah blah blah, yada yada yada. 6 months passed up to like pretty much this month or last month. It's
Mhm.
what essentially happens now, the whole Sweet Baby thing blows up because the
Yeah.
people at Sweet Baby are terrible, horrible, no good, very bad people. And when once all that stuff started blowing up about them, the average person is like, "Well, wait a minute, what? How could they say something like that?" So you mean to tell me that there is a conceited effort to indoctrinate people or change? Wait, there's actually this hidden agenda to push for certain things in video games in order to be a certain way. Hold on now, that doesn't make any sense. This Sweet Baby is behind everything. Well, that's not right. I thought they just made video games. What does ESG mean? What, there's
Yeah.
money involved?
Yeah. I think Josh just cut out. Give us 1 second, guys. I think he'll be back in just a second.
I don't know. I don't know what keeps happening right there.
They on to you, man. You
Yeah,
preaching.
I
You
know.
cooking over there. You cooking. That's what happened. You
Yeah,
cooking.
I see. Like over here, what they DOS DDoSing my channel or some shit. Hold on, right quick. I don't know what's up with that. Hold on. Okay, so am I back? Am I back?
Yeah. Yeah, you back. I can hear you and I can see you.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't know why that keeps happening. But yeah, because it's like it's just happening over here. But anyway, but
Yeah, you're saying
okay.
that people are actually catching on to what was happening, saying, "Hey, okay, there actually is a conspiracy."
Well, it's not a conspiracy. It's just facts now. It's
Yeah,
like the whole
facts.
thing, because people were kind of like pushing it off as like, oh, you're just being a conspiracy theorist or you're acting weird. But now you can't just call it a conspiracy theorist because we been had the receipts, but no one listened. But
Yeah,
now that it's been like the problem is that these people have gotten way too bold
yeah,
and aggressive with their push for what it is they're trying to do. That they fucked up and let the whole world see it. And so
yeah,
now, like they're their backs up against the corner. But just gotta kind of go back to the whole act man thing. So with that whole thing going on, it pretty much came back, which again it exonerated and validated as, because he's like, see, but hey, I'm gonna have my victory lap, and whatever, because I earned it. You guys shat on me for all this time, and labeled me as XYZ, only to turn out that I was right, and now everyone looks like a sucker.
Yeah.
And of course, Ackman was like, and he was getting cooked for a while on Twitter as a result of it, because people were like, "Weren't you the guy that said you wanted more of this shit in here? And now you're acting as if, oh wow, this sweet baby thing is crazy. I would have never,
Yeah. Like he
you know,
didn't know.
yeah."
Like he didn't know.
Because like one can make the argument that maybe he probably actually didn't know. I personally don't believe it, because there's no way you're a gaming YouTuber doing all this shit and have no, like, come on, this is like directly involved in gaming. But just like way back in the past, when this stuff was first coming out, people were afraid to talk about it, so they would speak around it. Angry Joe still does this,
Yeah.
because back when it was just Anita Sarkeesian, he took it upon himself to defend her, because he still viewed her as like, oh well, she's just an innocent little girl, and you guys are being uh really, you're out of pocket. She just wants to help the industry in her
She's
own
just a
way.
baby girl. She's just a baby girl.
Yeah, and we're like, no, that's a fucking communist, and she's in here trying to do some weird shit. But you can't attack women. And now here we are, after some Me Too, and you can see how they're still trying to use it. Because if you say anything to women, you're the bad guy, even if they are guilty of the thing that you're accusing them of. Because
Yeah.
no one wants to believe you, not because they actually don't believe you, but they're too afraid to do the research or look it up or even say anything, because they'll be hit next.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like, yeah,
Yeah. And then they play the victim. Like you ever see that SNL skit with Keenan playing R. Kelly?
I may have, like, a long time ago.
And he was talking about saying, hey, well, call me victim. It's a funny victim. It's a funny video.
I have to look that up, because that sounds like, when they used to be funny. Is that like an old clip?
Yeah, it's old now.
Yeah,
Where
I
like
haven't
that
seen
was
it.
making fun of the R. Kelly interview.
Oh yeah, with Gail King,
Yeah, with Gail King. He just called me victim.
Robert, Robert. But yeah, so our thing is like, yeah, we're at a point now where, I'm at a point anyway where I'm just like, well, I'm done with this shit. I'm over this shit, because I already know what this is. This, like I said, Gamergate 2.0, except the mask is pretty much all the way off. And now people are seeming like they're allowed to talk about it. But the thing is, like, with folks like Ackman, people are like, you likely knew about this, but because you're so successful in where you currently are, you're not willing to risk your position talking about this stuff, because it may come down back bad on you. Because just like back when Angry Joe, because he was a big channel back then, back when I was a fan of him, I was under the assumption like, this guy stands for like the truth in gaming. He wants gaming to be better, so there's no way he doesn't see this. But when the whole thing with Anita Sarkeesian came up, I was like, wait a minute, this is like, they picked the perfect environment to do this stuff in. Because I said this in one of my live streams, where I was talking about how women are ruining entertainment, and they use women as the vehicle. Because in the gaming community, you got a bunch of guys who have no social skills, who don't know how to talk to women, who have no riz, as the kids say nowadays. And so whenever they see a girl, they're just like, oh, well, they're either not going to talk to them, be too awkward about talking to them, or be creepy about talking to them, or just ignore them outright. But they're going to get attention, because, wow, a girl in the gaming space, she would be the ultimate waifu, or, whatever shit. But so that's why I was like, yeah, that's a just really smart hustle. Like, I got to give them points for that.
I
But
mean, it's like
yeah,
the manipulation is like top tier, man.
yeah,
It's
and
so bad.
yep. because that's why I was saying like my other live stream, I was like, yeah, this isn't just a thing of like, people kind of look at me and say like, oh, you're just being misogynist about it. I was like, oh, you don't know anything, because it's strange how all of these figures doing this are women, and I'm like, that's not
Yeah.
some random coincidence. It's on purpose. So
So, are you happy that this stuff is coming to light to where the masses are now seeing this stuff? Are you
I
enjoying
mean,
seeing it unfold? After like, knowing the truth, and now that the truth is out, does it make you happy that people are actually seeing it now?
yes and no, because I'm less interested that it's happening, and I get to be like, oh, vindicated, because like I felt vindicated years ago. So like that feeling has no value to me. I'm
Mhm.
more interested in the follow up, like, because I've been waiting for uh I guess you could say retribution to some degree. That's why I'm so specific in saying like I'm skipping to the end. That's why my message is like get the women out of here. Like, because my thing is like that's the problem. I understand.
So, when you
But
say get women out of here, you mean those type of women,
I
like the female?
mean, well, what I want is for gaming to return to the way it was naturally back in sixth gen. Because when people see what I say, they're like, "Well, you just don't want any women anywhere." I'm like, "No, there was a time where women could they were here and they were gaming and they were chill." But the thing is that they were always a minority because on a natural level, gaming is a boy's interest. It's not a women's interest. So if there are any women, they are the exception naturally.
Yeah,
The
they're
problem,
they're really the minority in this space.
yeah. So it's not so much that I'm just saying there can't be no women ever. It's just that the women that are here actually want to game. There's still problems around that, but I can't really control for that fully. But when you look at gaming studios now versus back then, because in that same video that I was doing talking about uh women are ruining media, is that the media, the specific, you have to pay attention to which media specifically, because it's not just all media, because there's all types. You have your rom-coms and stuff, and there's media for men, there's media for women, there's media for the black demographic, there's media for the white demographic. You got
Mm,
your Fridays, mostly watched by black people, but there's a few white people sprinkled in there that like and watch Friday, just
mhm.
like Seinfeld, like majority white demographic, but there's a few black people that like Seinfeld. Gaming's no different, especially in the way that gaming is developed for boys, consoles and stuff. Like there are some games
Yeah,
developed specifically for women, but the or girls, but the games that make bank belong to boys. Now,
yeah,
the way that that paradigm has shifted is because of the unnatural, forceful inclusion of women there, because that's what's currently under siege, and people they they act as if they don't understand that. So when you see, let's say Halo, because this is when I was like when I was kind of on and off watching the Act Man, but it really agitated me how he was so willing to watch or play. First of all, play the latest Halo Infinite, and then there was a TV show. He was willing to play and watch both of those. When I was thinking, you still there?
yeah. I'm still here.
Oh, okay, let's make sure the same thing ain't happened to you.
Oh no, no, your screen went completely black,
Yeah, it's
but
like
I'm still here.
okay, but yeah, exactly, Billy Donuts. Because like for me, it was back when he said that shit about Anita. But when there was like a focused effort on games specifically tailored for the male demographic, that's when something was up. And you could see this over the course of time with game franchises. If you were a fan of Mass Effect, you didn't like Mass Effect Andromeda. Something happened.
Mm,
Now, Mass Effect Andromeda was a game that allowed you to do things like play as a male character or a female character, but that's still something that's dominated by male interests. A lot of male gamers like to play with female characters, just like how I like to play almost exclusively with female fighters in fighting games
Mm.
for a variety of reasons. But the same thing, just like if you have a creative character, guys like to create female characters because it's fantasy. Make your own hot, sexy, super strong knight warrior, or a dude, same thing, whatever. Scantily dress her up. It's a video game. Doesn't have to be realistic. Otherwise, I wouldn't be playing it.
Yeah.
But so when all this stuff was happening, certain franchises dipped in quality significantly. And it wasn't just because like, oh yeah, these guys don't know how to make video games. There's glitches everywhere. There was that. But the style of the game, the feel of the game, the writing of the game just took a huge left turn, seemingly
Yeah.
out of nowhere. And you could look at it and be like, this isn't made by the people who make this franchise.
Yeah.
Something's off. And that was like supposed to be for something that the average the real gamers who like followed these franchises and were fans of these franchises should have been able to tell immediately. And it happened with Halo, technically after I believe Reach, because if I'm not mistaken, it was either Reach or ODST. I think it was Reach. Reach was the last game made by Bungie, because Bungie was the guys who made Halo from its
Mm.
inception on the original Xbox up to that game on the 360. And after that, I think it was Halo 4. Halo 4 was different, and there's a different studio making it, 343. Now, if you watch some of the developer blogs or diaries, you would see a shift in tone for the people talking about the character and the story. If you looked at
Mm.
the developer diaries for Halo in the earlier games, you would see some dude, some white guy with glasses saying like, "Yeah, we didn't really put too much thought into Master Chief's human aspect. He's like a walking tank with big ass guns. He's super strong and he can kick stuff and jump around and he's like the hero." And I'm like, "Yeah, that sounds cool." But if you look at the same developer diary, I think it was for Halo 5, it was a woman in glasses, white woman, and she was like, "We're really focused on exploring the mind of Master Chief, and he's a human. He's not just a big tank who shoots stuff. He has feelings. He cares about the people he's protecting." And it's just like, I
Something's off
mean,
here.
yeah, exactly. And so it's just like, hey, that's strange, but well,
Yeah.
new Halo. But
Yeah.
and if you look at those games from Halo 4 to 5 to Infinite, you could just see like the stories dragging on. There's so many more characters. They're female Spartans now, and it's like there were female Spartans before, but these are like female Spartans, and it's just like, female Spartans written by the OG team was different from female Spartans written by 343,
Really.
because yeah, because they're just like, hey, look at how important and strong this character is. Because remember, I don't know if you remember Dead or Alive 4, Nicole, one five, I
Oh.
think. Yeah, she was the hidden character. She was straight up,
Oh.
yeah, the Spartan.
Oh.
And
Yeah. 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 I thought that was Master Chief.
no, it's Nicole, a female Spartan. But the difference was is that that was a collaboration between Bungie and Team Ninja,
Yeah.
and that character was cold
Yeah.
because they were
Did
just
he like
like,
stick a grenade in your stomach or something?
yeah, she'll take a plasma, shove it in your stomach, and kick you, and you just blow up. And I'm just like, shit did
Yeah.
a
It was
shit ton of
cold.
damage. And I'm just like, so of course people were kind of hyped because like we've always wanted to see a female Spartan. We just never. There were like side stories like in the books and the other forms of media that because Halo was picking up steam, so they made like a short series, a animated series here, wrote a book there, and in those stories there were female Spartans that we heard about. And then the first female Spartan we were introduced to was in Reach. So, and she was
Mm.
awesome. But it was just like these characters aren't the same because now Master Chief is all sad and in his feels a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And these female Spartans are you're told that they're just amazing, but they don't show you.
Yeah. Uh oh. I guess we have some technical difficulties. Josh will be back in a second. Give us a 1 second.
Yeah,
There
I
we
don't know
go.
what. Yes, I brought it up over here. There's other screens to see when it happens before it happens.
Yeah.
I don't know why that's happening, man. Very strange.
Does your like square show like black? That it's black?
No, it like this whole the whole tab I have StreamYard on stops. Internet don't stop, but the tab on StreamYard does, which is
Oh,
I don't know
that's
why that
weird.
is.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Yeah, but we're gonna keep going until I figure out who's trying to fuck with me. But
Them babies, the sweet babies.
yeah, those sweet babies, and they upset, big mad. They're like, I know this nigga didn't just post a get back in the kitchen day on Women's Day. Uh-uh. No, he didn't.
Uh,
But well, where was I? Well, just as far as the act, man, I'm kind of going off, but essentially, my criticism of him is like, how could you not see this stuff happening? Because this is the calling card. Your game changes, these new people come in, and the product wanes in quality. The writing is worse, and people start acting gay out of nowhere, like all emotional and stuff. So my thing is like because like Halo was the Act Man's like main game. There was a lot of gaming YouTubers, but they kind of started their claim on a particular franchise. He was a Halo guy, a big Halo guy
okay.
back then.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking, just like how Cross's main game was Mass Effect, and when it happened, he immediately noticed, like he noticed something happening in Mass Effect 3. So he was just
Mm.
like, something was weird. So that's when he realized, like, I see what's happening. This is fucked, and yada yada yada. So they I was under the impression that, hey, maybe the Axeman will have a similar experience because I can see it. I liked Halo, but I'm definitely not big into Halo as he is. And I managed to see it. So surely this will be the he's not, like, he's covering it. He's talking about it, but he seems to be he's not saying what it is.
Yeah.
Like specifically. And I saw the same thing in Angry Joe's recent review of the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. He was shitting on the game. The game is objectively bad, but they're treating it like it's like, oh, it's just a bad game. They cooked it the
Yeah.
wrong way. The ingredients were a little off, a little too much spice, not enough spice, a little bad decisions in writing. And it's like, but we know why. This is on purpose. This is like intentionally done for this reason.
Yeah,
And that
sweet babies behind the scenes.
yeah, and I'm like, this is like common knowledge at this point because like I did a short stream on Sweet Baby about 3 4 months ago, and I was like, yep, Suicide Squad, expect that game to be trash because these people are involved. Their mission statement literally says we care about diversity, and so we're basically pushing for gay shit in the game. So if you see anything that's like anti-white man, shitting on men, propping up women in a ridiculous fashion, it's us. And so when you look at Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman, oh, she is just so awesome. She's the only Justice League member that didn't get taken control by Brainiac. Okay. uh, and she's the only one she got all the right ideas. She's the smartest. And when everyone else gets around her, they just say dumb shit just to show you how strong and fucking based Wonder Woman is. Now she is all these things, but not by herself. Because
Yeah.
like when people think that we've seen a million Justice League uh, books, comics, and stories where Brainiac is the main guy, and under no circumstance does Batman, Green Lantern, Flash, and Superman all fall to this guy.
So Batman actually has like training to fight being mind controlled. So I guess they forgot about that shit.
Yeah, well, they didn't forget. They knew. They just didn't care because the whole point is to write the story their way. They don't respect source material. They've never respected source material.
Yeah,
That's
that's right.
the that's the main criticism that people like us had of them. So we're just
Yeah.
like, why are these people here doing it? Because remember, This game was made by Rocksteady. These guys know Batman, or that's what we believe because they've only made like 3, 4 awesome Arkham games.
Yeah,
So they're just
arguably the best superhero games ever. Arguably.
yeah, yeah. So people are like, of course, like if you don't know, so, like there are different tiers of knowledge from gamers. When they see Rocksteady, they can be like, oh, the Arkham games. So when they hear that Arkham or Rocksteady's making another Batman adjacent game, they're like, oh yeah, of course it's gonna be good. So it's Suicide Squad, Killer Justice League. Oh okay, I mean
Mm,
they DC does different world shit all the time, and then they come out, this is the Arkham universe, and it's like, well, why? And then when you do some digging, all the original writers for the original Batman games have left. They're gone.
damn.
So that leaves Sweet Baby. So that's but game
So,
companies like
go
Sweet
ahead.
Baby just yeah, just like Billy Donut said, games were becoming diverse organically little by little until companies like Sweet Baby decided to rush the process at the expense of quality. But that's the thing, games have always been diverse. They weren't diverse enough for them. There's plenty of black characters, female characters, all the
Yeah,
way back in the damn 90s,
yeah,
80s. So it's just like diversity
yeah,
had nothing to do with it. They wanted diversity by their definition, not organically. What were you gonna say?
yeah. And it's like, I hate how so Spider-Man's been the same like white man for like 50 years or so. I don't know how
Mm,
old Spider-Man is, but you know, back then it hasn't been a problem that Spider-Man was a white man until now. It's like, okay, this guy's been like a white man since I don't know, the 60s, right? Or 70s. He's been a white man
mm,
for a long time, but now with the introduction of Sweet Baby, Peter Parker has to be replaced by Miles Morales. It's like
yeah.
because of diversity. And it's like they're not writing stories or they're not putting diversity in games um to add to the story. It's like they're adding it just for the sake of adding it. It's
Mm,
like they always got to rewrite the story to push a certain thing or a certain way, and it always ruins the game because when you prioritize other things other than making a good story, making a good game, it ruins the product. And it's been happening so many times. We've been seeing it over and over and over again.
yeah, and that's why when it comes to like when I talk about this stuff, it's like it's more than just gaming. Gaming was like the first uh, you know, attempt. And since it was so wildly successful, you could see it slowly start seeping into film, movies, TV shows. And so that's why whenever I see like a series get shitty, like, I knew this was coming because like they got their feet wet in gaming, and since it was such a smooth process, it eventually just permeated throughout the entire entertainment industry as a whole. Now you got
Mm,
Kathleen Kennedy, another woman, pushing for her version of Star Wars, Indiana Jones, whatever IP she touches. Then you come
yeah,
over here, they talking about we need a female black 007. It's just like none of this stuff was a problem until they decided it was a problem.
exactly.
So
100.
yeah, because like a lot of this stuff that they're complaining about has been it's not a it didn't have to be solved. It was just already there. And if you
Yeah,
were a true like a fan of this content, you'd be able to tell them immediately. It's like
you would
how you
know.
gonna yeah. How you gonna tell me ain't no female heroes? Laura Croft has been here longer than me.
Yeah,
Like, like, what are you talking about? Samus Aran? I love Metroid. And of course, when all this stuff was happening, all of us gamers who were getting, pushed to the side, we were just like, what is this Anita bitch talking about? She keeps saying like, oh, the gaming, and then she'll pull up Super Mario saving Princess Daisy or whatever her name, is, Princess Peach, and she's like, that is a example of why this needs to change. And we're over here like, what are you Like, what is going on? Bayonetta just came out. Like, isn't
Yeah,
that what you want? It's not what they
yeah.
want.
And it's like instead of creating their own IPs, they always got to take something that's already existed and mold it
Mhm.
into what they want it to be. Whatever their morals are or whatever their beliefs are, they try to inject stuff that we know and love with that stuff, and they're ruining it so bad.
Yeah, because my thing is that they're not necessarily trying. Like they're that's why I call them communists. With communists, like this is like their calling card. They're the opposite of capitalists. Capitalists have to make something of value in order to enrich themselves. So they have to take a loss, create something so good that it appeals to other people. Because like for example, the guy that created the first tampon or birth control or whatever. He did it because his wife was suffering. I don't know his name. I don't know the story verbatim, but I think it was some guy in India or another country. So he made the first like form of either the first tampon or something out of a goat skin because his wife was suffering, and he's just like, "Yo, this can't last. I need to create something so that my wife cannot struggle doing this thing." I'm like, that's the
Yeah,
mind of a of ingenuity. Somebody
yeah,
who wants to create something to better the lives of humanity. Communists do the opposite. They take that and claim that that's not fair for you to have for yourself. You're enriching yourself by creating something. That belongs to the people. Problem with that is people who had nothing to do with that thing's creation are getting rewarded,
mm,
and they have no idea what went into it. That's why you see these people always targeting very popular and prolific franchises to then inject their politics or way of life and use that as the they're parasites. They latch on to what's something of value, claim it as their own, and then get mad at you for criticizing it because you don't like change, you
yeah.
know.
Or like what is the president of Sweet Baby Inc. say? What did she say? Oh, you're picky babies if you don't
Yeah.
like what they're putting into the games.
Yeah, how can you not like it? Like, look, and here's the funny thing about that, because like on one of my previous videos, I showed the that Batman clip where he was explaining why women aren't, why they just shouldn't, because he was like, there's nothing more self-destructive than a single woman. You want to know why? Because there's nothing of value. She doesn't have any kids. And once she gets older and realizes she wants kids, but she's too busy being indoctrinated by whatever, she makes it her job to make you her kid or an illegal alien. Or so what she's doing is exactly what Jordan Peterson said. Everyone's an infant to a single woman. So
Damn.
now we're the babies who don't know what we actually want, but she knows better because she has that motherly instinct that she just couldn't get because she's a bitch to be around and no man will ever touch her. So she's got to take it out on everybody else as a result. And what they do is they get all caught up in their feelings or whatever. They create these new committees, just like Billy Donut said, and gonna tell us why we're wrong about what we've been liking forever.
Yeah,
So
it's
it's like
it's like the stupidest thing ever, man.
it
It's
is, but
it's like so there's a fan base. We know what we like. We've been playing games for years. Gaming is fairly new, but you know,
mm,
not really. We we've
yeah,
we know what we want. We it's everything has been tried and true. So I just don't understand. I just don't understand it, man. It's so crazy.
yeah. I still heard everything you said because I got you up over here just in case I go out. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm
But
gonna listen to it.
yeah, like for someone to come in and tell you what the hell you like. Well, we've been playing games for years. You know, I can't stand that. It's
Yeah,
like nobody should be telling anybody what they fucking like, what they want to play. It's like telling somebody what they want to eat. It's like,
Yeah. It's
I like pizza. Oh well, no, you need to eat what's it, the cauliflower crust pizza. Well, I want real pizza. No,
yeah.
eat the
Yeah.
cauliflower crust pizza.
Yeah.
It's
Like
like I didn't ask for that.
yeah, her logic checks out because it's the way that your mother would talk to you when you were a child. Like, you gotta eat your peas. And it's like, I don't want peas, I want candy and stuff. The difference is that we're fucking adults. And it's like, look,
Grown ass man.
yeah, like if I wanna destroy my guts with some pizza, I'ma destroy my guts with some pizza. I'll pay for it later. I look, that's what freedom is. You get that as an adult. But again, when you're a single woman, and this is why I'm going so hard. It's like, look, just get women out of here, dude, because there's too many of y'all who are single who have nothing going for themselves, and you're making the rest of us pay for it. Now, my opinions on that go far beyond. I'm just keeping it here for gaming. But it's like,
Well, I want to ask you some questions outside of gaming.
go
Once
right
we
ahead.
finish all of this, well, once we finish,
Okay.
I'm not gonna ask him now, but when you finish,
Well, in case, hey, Carl Silverberg, my nigga. So, but that just a little hint. But yeah. So yeah, the thing is with that, when it comes to gaming, like I said, we've been inundated with a huge influx of female uh influence. And the reason why I was kind of going so hard at the that Mediaholic video I did with that Lauren Chen was covering, because she didn't want to say it. She was like, "Well, I mean, it's kind of her fault, but it's complicated." I'm like,
I remember
"No,
that.
it's yeah." I'm like, "No, it's not, dude. It's not. It's not complicated because we see what's changed. All you have to do is look at gaming with the way it was back in sixth gen, fill in the gaps for seventh gen, and now we're here. I think we're in ninth gen. It happened in towards the tail end of seventh gen. It was here in eighth gen, and now we're dealing with the ramifications into ninth gen. So I'm
Mm,
like, all you have to do is like look at how we were, because it wasn't just that, oh, we just grew and there's a lot more people. Like, no, yeah, we grew. We've been growing since gaming started. Once it started to pick up steam and Nintendo started going like, yeah, we're just gonna make some good fucking games. But everyone found their place. Everyone knew where they belonged. The platformers decided to be platformers. The Rainbow Six guys were Rainbow Six guys. The
yeah,
JRPG guys were JRPG guys.
the fighting
But
game guys were the fighting game guys.
yeah, but in all those different camps, predominantly men. Now, of course, we're the market. The market dictates what we want. So, of course, game just like how the Easy Bake Oven wasn't getting purchased by no boys anywhere. So, with that being said, gaming was just a boy's hobby. Yeah, there are a few girls in there, but if you were as a game company and you wanted to make bank, just like all throughout sixth gen, like dude, there were so many games that appealed to the boys. It's like, yeah, Grand Theft Auto's cool and all, but I want a new Grand Theft Auto, True Crime, Streets of LA. Oh shit,
Mm,
can't wait to play that shit.
cold
Uh,
game.
you like JRPGs? You want a PlayStation 2? I gotta get a PlayStation 2, man. Oh, you like first person shooters? You gotta get an Xbox. They got the best first person shooter out right now. It's called Halo. Never even heard of it. It's like, oh, what's that? You like Smash Bros? You gotta get a Nintendo GameCube, bro. I mean, come on.
Hmm.
So everything was like divided, but there was like clear parity. Everyone had a place to go. Like you
Yeah,
could mix, but everyone had like their premier games. Like, okay, I love fucking Smash Bros and all this stuff, but I'm just a Halo guy, man, or
yeah.
vice versa. You can't do that now because just aside from the industry being a lot more uh what's the word? I used it when we were talking about Tekken a while ago, but
Is it streamlined? It's not streamlined, is it?
it is, but everybody's kind of just come together in this one hodgepodge, which is very counterproductive
Mm,
because gaming is inherently di- it's divided, not in a way where we're at each other's throats, but there's so many different categories and genres that you kind of find your place somewhere else. You can play all these other games, but you kind of this is where you kind of stick. Just like how we were talking about all the fighting games have been slowly dying, so everyone's coming to Tekken.
Yeah.
So
Well, the Xbox is dying. They're not doing too good right now. So it's like you're saying, normally you would go to the Xbox or PlayStation or the Nintendo, but Xbox is failing. Um,
yeah,
PlayStation is like it's not failing, but
no,
it is. It is, but it's like there's nowhere else to go. So
well the
you
thing is,
you can get Nintendo, but a lot of
realistic
people a lot of people don't go to Nintendo.
realistically, all of the consoles have failed. The only console that's still standing is Nintendo. PlayStation, I know everybody wants everything to come to PC, but I consider that a failure because there was a time where you had a reason to own a console. Now consoles have just devolved into low end PCs.
Yeah,
So
and
it's like, well, I get that when I can get an actual PC, I can get games for cheaper. I can get games to run better for the most part. But you
and it's
know, yeah,
and see, like to your point, like I still haven't bought a PlayStation 5 yet because
there's no reason to.
there's no reason for me to buy one. There's no games that I want to play. Uh, even like my favorite games, Tekken, is not worth buying for me. So
Yeah,
there's no
because it's
reason.
yeah, because that's why I keep referencing sixth gen as like the best gaming has ever become because you you couldn't buy one without feeling like you're missing out from the other. It's
Yeah, like
like
I remember being a PlayStation guy,
mm,
but I like Dead or Alive, and
yep.
like Xbox had the exclusive Dead or Alive. So I was like, oh my god, why? I want to play Xbox. I think it was like Dead or Alive 3
And two ultimate.
and and 2 Ultimate and 4, right? Was it 4?
Four was on 360.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, I remember Tenchu. Yeah, Better Get Solid. Yep, and and the thing is, that's what I want. I want like if we're gonna still have consoles, consoles have to still have that kind of appeal where it's like, hey, I may have a PC, but you'd be crazy if I'm not getting a brand new PlayStation. Assuming like in another universe where the PlayStation 2 just kept its identity, exclusivity, and value. Because I don't think that's a problem. The only reason why everybody wants everything to come on PC is because homogenized. That's the word. Everything has become homogenized. I don't like the idea of I like the idea of crossplay, but I don't like the idea of every game being so similar to where you're better off just getting it on PC.
Yeah.
So
And
uh,
see, that's kind of how I felt like some years ago. Because like I was like that. I was like, man, PlayStation has its exclusives and Xbox has its exclusive, but it got to a certain point where like the same shit that was on PlayStation was on Xbox. So it's like,
mm, yeah, because it's like you don't really have to choose anymore. Because it's like because they're still trying to sell these consoles like the most powerful console, or I could just get a PC. Like they're trying to
yeah,
sell the Xbox Series X, and this was after they were doing like the Windows 10 thing. And I was like, first of all, no one's going for that, so we're just gonna wait. We know because you guys already blew it with the Xbox One, with the day you announced it, and we figured out that was just a piece of shit. And now you're gonna try to like put us in a wall garden on Windows 10. We're just wait for you to bring it to Steam, because all we got to do is not buy it, because you've already like shat on your customer base, your consumer base, and that's what happened. They're like, "Yo, Windows 10, we got to sell these Xboxes." No one's going for that. Master Chief's Collection's coming to Steam. Thank you. Like it's like I wished we lived in a timeline where the Xbox One wasn't called that A, but B, it had the same appeal and draw of the original Xbox. And yeah, we can do without the the PC integration, because the PC was supposed to be like its own platform for PC games, because like PC games of the past didn't work on consoles, just like how consoles didn't have their games on PC. That's why Nintendo is so anal about emulators and stuff. I don't like that, but I get it. It's like they don't want you to play on anything other than their games, which they have the right to do. I'm still emulate that shit, but I get what their reasoning is.
Yeah,
It's just that it's so unfortunate. We're so hungry for it now because of how homogenized the entire industry has become. And so many people are like, there's no point in owning the console because the consoles either suck, not worth it, or you overcharge. Hell, the main appeal for consoles used to be physical. You've taken that away from us. So, okay, if
mm,
digital is my only option, I want it on the PC where I can
yeah,
control things like the level of performance and graphics and all that stuff. And it's just like Nintendo's not helping
yeah.
because they don't want to sell their stuff, and then their hardware is old and dusty. Nobody want to play no game on the Switch at 12 frames per second at this garbage resolution, but they
Yeah,
know that. So,
yeah, they know that they're pushing that thing hard, man. They're pushing that thing super hard.
yeah. And I'm like, again, people like buying things. Like, I wouldn't mind buying a PlayStation 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 if it was like, hey, I can't get these games anywhere else. These are PlayStation exclusives the same way Nintendo has exclusives, assuming that none of this gay shit happened. And Final Fantasy is still exclusive to PlayStation. It's like, dude, I love Final Fantasy, so I got to get a PlayStation 9. And I can appreciate my collection throughout the years. I'll be 60 years old and have 20 PlayStations. Like, wow, that was a wild ride, man. I can't, man. Back on the PlayStation One with those block titties, man. Oh, those were the days. And it's like, I want that. I want that
Yes.
future. But now it's just like, just give it to me on PC. I guess I'll just settle for the fucking digital download. Or if you fuck me enough, I'll just pirate it. So it's
Man,
like,
those Steam deals be like so good. Like,
hmm
like man, 60% off, 70% off, 80% off. Uh-oh.
yep. Yeah, so it's like it's almost like you're incentivized to leave the console space, and that didn't used to be that way. Because like back
And
when PCs were cold, folks were like, yeah, whatever. I got a PlayStation 2. No, thank you.
and see, Josh, that was me. It's like,
Mm,
well, I got a PlayStation. I don't need no PC.
hmm
And
And they finally got you.
yeah, I'm slowly coming around.
Yeah, because
And
you
it
don't
was
have a
crazy,
choice.
man. Yeah, it's like, well, it's like the PC is the same power as the PlayStation 5. And so, like, might as well get a PC where you can do other things, you
Yep.
know?
And so now we're fighting this whole thing where it's like, oh well, PC is getting too powerful. Now the companies want to control whether or not you can mod the game. It's like, no, go fuck yourself, bro. Like you don't get to do all this shit and then tell me how I can play my games that you already won't let me have physically. And now you're gonna sit here and drop a freaking shit ton of EULAs on me, telling me that, oh, once you download it, you can't do this afterwards. No, but
But Josh, Capcom says that if you mod, it's like cheating.
then I'm cheating. I can do that. I can cheat my experience with this game. It's mine. If
Yeah,
I
you
want to buy big old titties or a million Hadoukens with one button, I'm gonna do it.
he
So
said I bought the game so I can do what I want with it.
yeah, just like we did with physical games. I used to buy the game and then it's mine. It's mine. And if I follow a hard time, it's like, man, I need to sell my Fatal Frame collection so I can pay my rent. Because they held their value. And that's the same. Like, okay, I can't sell a physical game, but I can mod it. And it's like these are all things you keep trying to take away from me, and it's like, no, I'm not allowing you to just keep, you know, f-
Oh, I think Josh just went out again. Should be back in just a sec.
Yep, there
There
I
we
go.
go. There we go.
Yeah, I had to figure out what's up with that. But yeah, so to kind of round things back out with the whole thing with Sweet Baby and that whole thing, it doesn't surprise me. I'm just like, yeah, yeah, they got me, Billy Donuts. But yeah, like on one hand, I'm like, yay, finally the normies are waking up after a fucking decade. Took you guys long enough. But on the other hand, it's like, well, now that everyone knows, just like I thought they would have known way back then, what are we going to do about it? And that kind of leads into something that did happen that I am happy about. Where is it at? Right here. Based Brazilian Steam curator Cabrutus. Cabrutus. So, in case you don't know, curators on Steam are exactly what they are. They curate certain games for you. And this guy created a curator tool called the Baby Ink Detective. So what that is essentially
He's
is
so
like,
genius.
yeah, it's hilarious because my thing is like, I can't believe no one's thought of that before. Why didn't I think of that? And it's such a simple premise because people now that we have a uh, a boogeyman that on their website they're just like, yeah, we work on all these games. It's not like they're hiding, they are hiding it, but they like to do the hide in plain sight to where, yeah, they're here but no one really is aware of their existence.
Yeah, or nobody cares.
Yeah. And so what this guy did was create a curator tool that basically highlights any game made or that's involved with baby Sweet Baby. And that pissed him off cuz
So, so before you continue, now, why couldn't they like see this as a good thing? Like, okay, well, people can see the games that we've made, that we've worked on. We're not hiding it. If you want to play a game with diversity and inclusion, you can find it through finding, searching us.
here's
So
the
why would
problem.
they get mad at that?
Because just like all throughout history, communists don't like to be exposed because their whole thing is we work better when you don't really know that we're there. We want to be able to influence you silently. Like,
Mm,
just like how the cockroaches don't like to be seen by, because once they realize you turn the light on, they get the fuck out, like, ah, fuck. Yeah, you gotta, we're always here, but we like it, and we're here, but you don't do anything about it until you see us.
yeah, it's
So
like, but they're so bold, with their statements. They're letting you know outright that this is what we're doing.
you know why though, right? The
Why?
reason
Why?
why they're so bold is because they have this barrier of uh what's the word? This barrier of it's it's a
Is-
it's a word for like where you just don't know any better, or you're just like, oh, I didn't know. I just had it, man.
Naivete?
It's
No.
partially naive. It's partially that like people are naive, but the average consumer is just like, I didn't know. Like I
Ob-
had no idea. I just play video
Oblivious.
games. Yeah, the barrier of they're just ignorance and oblivious. Exactly. Thank you, Billy. It's ignorance because it's not that people aren't going out of their way to know, because the average gamer is older, they have their own responsibilities and stuff, so now they kind of game on the side, which makes the next generation, the zoomers, very susceptible to the new shit that they're trying to push. And zoomers are
Yeah.
young, they're smart, but they're young, they don't have our reserve of information of gaming coming up to what it was, and then the cutoff.
Yeah.
So they rely on ignorance to do most of the shadowing for them. And because they have the whole feminism and thing on their side, people are now also too afraid to just go against women.
I
So
see.
that's why I say it's important to understand why it's always women involved in this stuff, because this shit goes back in history a lot. I don't know if you heard about the city of Weimar in Germany. I'll talk to you
No.
about that. Yeah, I'll talk to you about that after the stream. Same thing. But a lot of these women or whatever, they push they push this agenda in such a way, and since one half of the people are off doing their own thing and they don't play gaming enough to really care, and the other half that are still here are too afraid to speak out because being canceled is a thing now. Back then it was like, yeah, but nobody wants to put their neck out there and get destroyed because many
Yeah.
people have. So now you just have the small fringe minority that can be easily ignored by people who are too afraid or people who just don't know any better. And that's where they
Mm.
like to operate. Because it's like, yeah, no one's gonna. We're basically invincible. We're here. You can see our stuff, but the only people paying attention are just these little insignificant specks who
Yeah.
we already kind of have a way to deal with them. So we're good. That's why they can. That's why they're so pompous and they're just like, what are you guys gonna do? I don't care if that guy's dead. Yeah, he doesn't know how to draw black people. That's why they just don't care. They are demons, actually. So
Mhm.
when they get exposed, that's why they act so ferocious. Like, cause like when that curator tool went up, they understood that it went up because the person who posted it knew exactly who they were. And when he
Damn.
posted it, he was like, "Hey, this is Sweet Baby Ink detected. You want to watch out." And so when a normie sees that, they're gonna be like, "Watch out, Sweet Baby, what's that?" And they do some digging, and then oh, down the rabbit hole they went. And then they're just like, "What the fuck is going? Is that why these games miss? I thought they were just bad games." And then now you can what was it? The Matrix. You're just shooting red pills in folks' mouth while they're
Yeah.
like, and then they get the shades and they become Neo. It's just like, damn, all this shit been happening and I didn't notice. It's like
Yeah.
now you know. And then you got people like Endymion building a following, Doomcock talking about it, and because like these people watch them, they do good numbers. But there are some people who watch them, but they don't. They're unable to make the connection until this happens over there, and then they're like, oh, oh, the Scott Pilgrim thing. Oh shit. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. And then it just clicks.
Terrible, man. It's so
Yes.
terrible. So this guy, he makes this curator tool that can search Sweet Baby in Steam, right?
Yeah, but hold on, Carl Silverberg. See, Carl, he knows. The Weimar Republic was full of legal drugs, child prostitution, but certain groups of communists controlled all the courts and government, and they were doing the trans shit.
Damn. Damn.
So yeah, but you were saying this shit
So
goes
this
deep, man.
guy, so this guy creates this curator that can search Sweet Baby in
Mhm.
any game. So this is in Steam. So any game that they're associated with in Steam, they search for it through this program. It'll find them in
Well,
every game that they've worked on.
yeah, he
You know this?
posted like because what a curator does is like when a game comes out, they do information on it, they do research because he's not reviewing games. There's some curator tools that you can use that be like, hey, I just want to see uh fighting games. I want you to
Yeah.
curate fighting games and tell me about them, like if there are any reviews that say it's good. And since you're the curator and you're like assumably you care about fighting games, what's your opinion on it? I could make a Steam curator tool and be like a Mortal Afro's fighting game, uh, fighting game utility where I cover all the
Mm.
fighting games and tell you what I think about this one, that one, why you should buy that one, why you shouldn't buy this one, so on and so forth. So that's essentially what it is.
Okay. So Sweet Baby finds out about this tool and they essentially try to ban this guy, right? They
Yeah,
try to get him off Steam or something like that.
yeah, because I assume because like since I haven't done it, but seeing everything that's going on, I'm assuming when you create a curator tool, it's tied to your account because that's who you are. And essentially, if that was me, because I got like hundreds of games in my library, but if I made a curator tool that they deemed offensive or whatever shit they come up with, they would try to talk to Steam and bully Steam into telling like, hey, there's a racist amongst your midst and he's doing all this crazy stuff. You should get rid of him. And if Steam was a bitch made company, they would be like, oh, well, we don't want to be associated with that. We're gonna nuke his whole account. All the
Mm,
games I ever bought, anything I ever did on Steam, gone,
dang.
vaporized out of thin air. Which is kind of why I am an advocate for pirating games, but that's over here on the side. But yeah, so that's essentially what it is that they were trying to do to him, because he was making a tool, because like a lot of people who probably didn't know before, this is some dude in Brazil. And he's just like, he's probably finding out all this stuff. He's like, sweet baby shit, I gotta do something. Like, this isn't cool. I got an idea. I'll just make a curator tool and
That's crazy
just
that it's
inform
some
people.
guy. It's crazy that it's some guy in Brazil.
Yeah. And you
I,
notice,
I I thought there was somebody in like America or something.
no, just some dude chilling in Brazil. Because like he was recently earlier today, he was in a podcast with Gums, I think that's his name. He's a guy who used to work on the World of Warcraft games back in the day, and
Hmm.
the Quartering. And like, he's just a chill dude. He was just like, yeah, man, I like, people are asking me to start making videos and stuff. Like, I don't really think I'm good at that stuff. I just saw something and thought it was important to get something out there. And it just blew up, because that's how significant this whole thing is. And like I said, on that front is good. The problem is that, and this is why these people are the worst. Like, they are the most racist, the most sexist, bigoted pieces of shit on the planet, because this is where all the collusion comes in, because all the game journalists websites, they are backed up by Sweet Baby. So they started
Yeah.
pushing out these articles saying like, hey, there's this racist guy who made a curator tool to shame this company, who's only doing the good thing, trying to spread diversity and happiness and fucking la la
Oh
in gaming.
yeah, I heard Kotaku put out a article defending Sweet Baby, saying that
Mhm.
what is it? What was the name of the article? Sweet Baby doesn't do what you think they do,
Yeah,
something like that.
gaslighting people. And because this was the same shit that was happening back in 2014 with Gamergate, where all these
Damn.
Kotaku and all these articles were. That's when people started realizing, like, yo, this goes beyond just this chick in this game. The whole industry is fucked, because these guys are writing articles that are objectively false if you know the full context, if you know the true story. But
Yeah,
they're supposed to be games journalists. Like, when you think of journalism, you're like, oh, you're supposed to report the truth, right?
yeah.
Nope, because they're already in the pockets of these people. And
Damn.
luckily, since Gabe Newell is a fucking G, when they tried to come up to him, he was just like, yeah, go fuck yourself. Just like Billy Donut says, the thing is, Steam has fuck you money. They have no reason to fear them.
Yeah, and
So,
it's like that's crazy, man.
mm.
Because what if he was just a guy that was like, man, I like Sweet Baby. Maybe I can make a tool to
Well,
find every game that they can do.
if he was that guy, he wouldn't have done that, because again, they like being visibly invisible. It's like,
Visibly invisible. That makes
yeah,
perfect sense.
yeah, because it's like, the only people that care about this stuff is in a very small fringe minority. And the only way it's going to get out is through people like Endymion. But that takes a lot longer to happen, because I know you heard the saying, a lie gets around the world 3 times before the truth has a chance to put its pants on.
Yeah,
So once something has been circulated so much, then the masses will just be like, well, whatever, don't care. But this is something
yeah.
they fucked up on, because no one really thought about doing. Like, that's why this guy, I got to give this guy kudos, because he was just like, I'm gonna just make a fucking curator tool. And then when Sweet Baby got word of it, they was trying to bury it,
Yeah,
but
and
ended
see
up,
that's like, that makes you like somebody this makes somebody even want to look into it even more. It's like, so why
yeah,
are they up in arms about this? Like, I'm asking, like, why are you up in arms? Well,
yeah.
let me look into it now. Like, somebody who would have never looked into it,
Hmm.
it's like, okay, you guys are looking kind of fishy now that you're
Yeah,
doing this.
it's the Streisand effect. Because they're just like, hey, because like I said, regular people, normally wouldn't care, but you develop interest when it's like, wait a minute, why this is a controversy? What the fuck is a Sweet Baby? That sounds weird. Let me look into that. And then accidentally
Yeah.
discovered discovered oil.
And then when you're like trying to ban an actual gamer, it's like it really raises eyebrows on the
Yeah,
whole situation.
yep,
Like when
because
when you're trying to do that.
yep. And then there's the other half of it. The companies like BlackRock, like Dosa Boy says, like I've heard some rumors about BlackRock owning shares in Sony and their involvement in making content. Well, absolutely, because there's a few people have kind of gone over it in detail, but just to kind of summarize, BlackRock, this is where the ESG money, it's called ESG money. And ESG is basically a social credit score that allows a lot of these developers to get the financial backing necessary to make games. So
So they have the
there's,
incentive to put this stuff in the game.
yeah, because otherwise you won't get your game made. So we'll give you this millions of dollars if you make sure that woman looks like a fucking man. If you make sure
Or or if you put this handicapped person in the game or a deaf girl and
yep,
give her
or
a
person of color, you know, and it has to be done this way. It can't be done because you actually wanted it. We're trying to send this message. There's a video of a guy from BlackRock talking about how they're trying to change people's behavior. And the only way to change it is by force because
I saw that.
people, yeah, that's the guy who's like that's where the money's coming from.
Oh
These
my god.
companies called BlackRock and Vanguard. They're the ones sending out these ESG money, and they're just like, well, you're not going to get any money unless you put the amount of shit we want in there. And then once it's in there, then we'll give you money. And that's why so many of
Damn.
these games have this shit.
Uh-oh. I think Josh just dropped out there. Let's kick it with some grease. There we
Man,
go.
is it? Hold on, let me try this. I'm gonna open up a new tab and just relog in. Give me a second, y'all.
All right.
Let's see. All right, can I be heard?
Yes, you can.
Okay. Yo, Dandelion, what's up, y'all? Yeah, sorry about that. There's something going on, man. I don't know what's up, but fuck it. All right. Who asked for the link? What you want to link to, Billy Donuts? I'll look that up and send it your way.
But yeah, I didn't know that. Because I was wondering, because I saw that video, but I was wondering why. What was the deal with the guy? I'd never seen him before, talking about forcing behaviors.
Yeah,
But now you pretty much cleared it up to me that this guy's giving these people money to put these type of things in gaming. That's crazy.
yeah.
That's
'Cause
crazy.
yeah, that's what, because like what it is, like they're just communists doing what communists do. Because just like Carl Silverberg said earlier, like this shit is like people don't want to admit it, but we didn't really win World War II. Like it's it's not over. It's still ongoing. Because what communists do is like they're power hungry despots who want to control people no matter what. And we're just facing the latest iteration in the modern era of an attempted communist takeover. Not to get too political, but I don't know if you've noticed how left the left is now versus how they were back in 2008. So
Yeah, they're
just
like extreme left.
yeah, and that's
Extreme
usually
left.
uh oh, Fairy. Okay, he said that's the name, Fairy Link. But I thought you meant like Fairy the Link. but yeah. So, but yeah, that's essentially what we're dealing with here. It's very concerning. It's dangerous, and people need to realize that this is we're at war. We are at war. We call it the culture war, and when people think of war, it's like, well, no one's shooting guns. Like, yeah, not yet. But the culture is like typically the first thing they try to attack. That's why I say when you see women, the OnlyFans generation, the pushing for promiscuous relationships, no more families, no one's having kids anymore. Everyone's a sex despot. Everyone's lazy, doesn't want to really commit to much, and technology is like flying as far in the direction of Orwellian levels of invasive privacy. You're no longer allowed to be alone. This is why I have a Linux computer now. Don't trust Microsoft because they put a lot of shit on the back end that you don't have any control over. Like this is why, it sounds like some crazy doomsday prep, but I'm like, it is happening right. It's everywhere, and it's getting to a point to where you can't run away from it. You think you're just playing video games, but you're actually being manipulated by uh, of the attempts of communist indoctrination, and
Yeah.
that's why they go for the young. Gaming is so big and influential now. We have to go for gaming. They realized that back in 2012 because coming out of sixth gen going into seventh gen, gaming was just it was making too much money. It's too much attention. They're just like, yo, this shit makes more money than the music industry, the movie industry.
Mhm.
We need to get in on this because bangers like Grand Theft Auto 4 broke records. Grand Theft Auto 5 decimated those broken records. And then there's a whole wave of DLC and how things could be purchased, and it's crazy. It's
Yeah.
crazy. And people just kind of look like, oh yeah, I can't wait for the next video game. It's just like,
Not in this day and age.
yeah, you think you're playing Spider-Man 2, but you're actually playing like, hey, white people suck and black people are the best too. So,
And
and it's
it's
the
so
same
crazy.
thing.
So I never understood. So this one thing I never understood. Why attack uh the white male? It seems like whenever they want to attack somebody, they're always attacking the white male. Like, okay, if there's a white male in the game, we got to get this out of here, or we have to make that white male look weak.
Uh,
Uh, I don't understand why they keep doing that.
all right, so you ready for some uncomfortable truths?
What is that?
Okay, so some of this is like pure speculation on my point. I don't think I'm that far off, but this is why. So in the 60s, when they introduced the feminist movement, the next wave of feminism and crack into the black communities, I believe that was all a test to try to bring a group of people to heal. It wasn't
Mm,
meant exclusively for black people. It was meant for white people, but white people bounced out of that shit relatively quickly because there was a more of them, and B, there was a stronger sense of unity between them. Because black people were pretty vulnerable because there's a whole Jim Crow, slavery, racism, and stuff was pretty fresh. So we
mhm,
didn't really get an opportunity to link with our women. That's why feminism was so appealing to women, black women specifically, because they're just like, look, I'm tired of struggling. I need a way out. And the government was like, hey, hey, we get rid of that man, and get on the government program, and we'll take care of you. Just like a lot of communist policy starts out like something good and useful, but it never leaves. And now, fast forward years later, you have these inner cities full of the black community is essentially a matriarchy, and there's no father figure to properly raise young men, and
mhm,
and to destroy a country, you have to destroy the men. Because
mhm.
there's no men left to defend it.
Yeah.
So mission accomplished for the blacks. We got to get the whites next, because in order to bring the whole country to heal, America is majority white. So now the reason why they keep trying to push it so aggressively now is because like they are either worried that they're about to lose that, because of course we're pushing back in every way that we can, but that's why they try to institutionalize all this stuff, because all this stuff really started, as far as I know, our generation becoming aware of it started in 2008 when a certain somebody became president. But you know nobody wants to admit that that's kind of where things were going. Like, we call it the uniparty. It's not just Democrats; it's Republicans and Democrats. It's a controlled effort to bring one of the biggest, most influential country to heal. Because once you control America, you control the world.
All
So
right. Okay, that's interesting. That
Mm.
makes sense. So let me see if I understand. So you're
Mm.
saying that women are essentially trying to put uh, white men under heel so they can control them. Is that what it is?
Essentially, because like women are the reason why women are such a important target is because women are more influential than men, despite what you may believe.
Mm.
Because and not in a way that like, oh well, women didn't create all this stuff. Like, no, men did. But again, what drives a man to do anything?
Women and children.
Yes, sex. But yes, you're right. Because a lot of the things that we've accomplished throughout human history came from a deep-seated desire to protect what we hold dear, our families. And if we didn't have one, we created one. The only way to create one is with a woman. So, if you wanted to target a country's ability to thrive, you would first take out the ability for men and women to court each other properly. You can see this very clearly in the black community,
Oh yeah,
because and
100%.
yeah, like just look at it like what's happening in the black community. They're trying to find a way to do it to a much bigger scale for the white community because a
Mm.
lot of white people essentially keep this country running. I know you people keep saying like, oh, black people, the slaves built it. Shut up. There's not enough of you here to do that. But for like a lot of these for America specifically, over 70% of the country is white. So if you're able to pull off what you did to the black community on a bigger scale to the white community, then you win.
Yeah,
It's game over.
yeah. It seems like there's a lot of shaming tactics towards white males nowadays,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to gaming. Like I was hinting at earlier, you know, Spider-Man taking the back seat to Miles Morales, um, and like I said, the president of Sweet Baby Inc. talking about white males and what white males like, and it needs to change and things like that. So it just
hmm
seems like you know
Yeah,
there it's like it's almost like I gotta like as a black man I gotta defend the white man getting attacked, and it's like the
uh,
weirdest thing. It's
well,
like the
you do.
weirdest thing because like Sweet Baby Inc. They preach diversity, but how can you be diverse and preach inclusion and not include the white male? Isn't
Well,
it like it's so hypocritical?
well,
You know?
that's it's like I said, it's the reason why, because like the stuff they're going after isn't by mistake. It's because again, the biggest consumer demographic in America is white people, and when it comes to gaming, white men, and they're trying to get rid of white men because if you demoralize and destroy men, they're not gonna want to make families, defend their homeland, all this stuff. Like it's like it worked for the black community. That's why they keep trying to push racism because racism is one of the skeletons in America's closet that is, and they've been doing this for years. There's a book called Color, Communism, and Common Sense, written by a guy named I think it's like Charles Manning or Manning Johnson,
Mm,
and he is a black guy who used to be a communist because when they and this is way back in like I believe the 50s or 60s, they
yeah,
approached him because black churches are part of the problem too. Not all of them, but historically they are. And the
yeah,
NAACP, same shit. But they historically they were called the redcoats back then. They approached disenfranchised, um, blacks and told them like, "Hey, become a communist, push our message, do all this stuff for us, and we can guarantee you a better life because this place sucks anyway. They don't treat you fairly, blah blah blah." And he,
yeah,
him being young at the time, he was like, "All right, fine, yeah, revolution." They get you while you're young. That's why so many protesters are these kids who have no future prospects because they're too busy trying to fight someone else's war because they don't have anything of their own. They
yeah,
they haven't developed their mind enough to be like, hey, I'm responsible for my life and I need to do, so on and so forth. So what he was explaining in his book is like how the process works, how they find people, and how these people are some of the most racist pieces of shit because they're just using you. They get you
Mm,
into their system under the guise of you getting all this cool, amazing stuff, and you're equal, you're one of us, but you'll never rank up because God forbid this nigga that's already ahead of you won't let you take his spot.
yeah,
You know, your Al Sharptons and stuff like that.
yeah,
I'm the race hustler. You just the one to go out there and burn shit. And if you get killed, whatever. So it's largely the same thing.
yeah,
Uh, to like a more to a more extreme modern example, and you just apply that same logic to gaming. And so that's the reason why they're so hyper focused on white people is because white people essentially are the glue that keeps America together. I know black folks don't like to hear it, but like it is what it is. We only make up 12% of the population. It is literally impossible for us to have done anything to have America stupid. But they keep pushing that rhetoric around because it gets people emotionally uh involved because just like Black History Month was like just last month, and that whole month they was pushing this message like you guys are so amazing and important. It's not fair that white people don't give you the blah blah blah. But what they're really doing is just trying to recruit you to become a part of this angry mob of people who are
yeah,
unable to get out of their own way because the truth for like making it for yourself is you're responsible for your own actions. Adopt some responsibility, make your own way, and stop being a victim. That's actually the answer to like a better life. It's very simple, but you have to be responsible for your life in order to get that. And as we see in the black community, responsibility, and then when you see with women, accountability. Fuck all that. Ain't.
bro. I'm learning something here, man. That's some good knowledge. You dropping some gems, some real
Yeah,
good gems. So I'm learning. That's dope.
yeah, cause like when this shit was like going down for me, cause my coming of age story was when I decided to like I think I like Trump, and then everybody was like, "Hey man, you racist." People like, "Whoa, I thought we was cool, man. What happened?" you know, I mean, I didn't say I know. I was like, Hold on, man. Just a few years ago, we were all like, "Damn, Trump is on WWE beating the hell out of Vince." Yeah, I mean, I don't really know who Trump is, but this shit's entertaining. He runs for president. Fuck that nigga, man. He ain't shit, man. He just a racist white. I'm like, what happened? When did we all just decided to collectively decide that it's okay to hate this guy?
Yeah,
You know, and then there was a whole thing that happened with the FGC chat because it was just like all I said was like, "This is my opinion on this thing that's happening for under these circumstances. Get that nigga the fuck out of here." I'm
damn,
like, okay.
damn.
So
And
that's definitely.
see, and see, I didn't know what had happened. He just
Mhm.
like disappeared one day. I was like, what happened to Josh?
And you notice nobody wanted to be clear or specific. They were just
Yeah,
like, yeah,
I asked the questions and nobody could tell me.
yep, and that's exactly how it works now. You start asking questions about Sweet Baby. Hey, look, man, just stay in your corner, bro. The person who
Uh-oh, Josh, you went out again.
you will not silence me. but but yeah, because like a lot of this stuff is is loosely related. Sorry about that, y'all. I don't know what's going on, but yeah. So a lot of this stuff is when you look at it like out in the open, nothing looks like it ties together. But when you start to kind of like pay attention to like certain there's a pattern of behavior, a specific the patterns, and when they all kind of click, it's like, wait, I'm just not allowed to think. Don't think, just do as you're told. And
Mm,
then since it's so like loosey goosey, none of it is put together because like humans we're used to order and recurring themes, so that way we can kind of like recognize a pattern. But these patterns are split, and it just kind of takes getting shat on before you kind of realize. That's why eventually I was just like, well, fuck it, I'm just gonna go all in. Because every time I ask questions or look into something or say something or have my own opinion about what I saw, I get shit.
You're not allowed to. You got to think like us.
Yeah. And so that's why I was like, okay, well, I mean, if that's the way it's gonna be, then fine. Now I just have to I have to know who my real friends are. And that was rough, man. I was not cool for like a good couple weeks because I was just like, man, I mean, I went over these guys' house. They came over to my house. We
Yeah.
were, it sucked. it
Well,
was it was pretty rough.
yeah.
But just like as far as when it comes to gaming, well, just to kind of bring it back to like the whole role women play. Women, like even though women are the most influential, they're also the most easily influenced,
Mm,
and especially when they're single, not fulfilling their role on Earth, as in becoming a mother, being the supporter of a man, and all that stuff. They don't have one. So what they do, just like in the '60s when the introduction of feminism to the black community, they create a new man in the form of government or
mm,
some system that they have to rely on, but they believe that they themselves are being independent. And so that's why
I
feminism is
see.
so yeah, that's why feminism is so poisonous because it it attracts women who don't have a path in life to come over here and just do the bidding of whoever erected this new system that they now rely on, but
Yeah.
are tricked into believing that, oh, I'm really just an independent boss bitch. And it's like, no, you're just another gear in the cog of the deconstruction of civilization because you've been removed from your rightful place. Yeah, I make the
Mm,
joke like, yeah, get back in the kitchen, but honestly, get back in the kitchen. We need you there. That's not a demeaning statement. That's where that's where you belong. Of course, not just the kitchen, but it goes to show that there's a reason why when civilizations are built, certain things cannot change. And communists hate tradition. That's why they keep trying to tear down, or they're usually super atheist or whatever. They don't like uh they don't like tradition because tradition is what builds things. Can't build
yeah.
anything without it.
Yeah.
So if you wanna build a healthy functioning society, you need families. If you want to
Yeah.
build a neighborhood, you need people to
Yeah.
settle.
Usually
So
traditions are based in structure, you know.
yeah, yeah, it has to build off of something. You just can't have a place full of people doing their own thing, fucking around. Then you end up with Weimar Germany, and then you start doing crazy stuff like child sexploitation and women doing this and that. And then what ends up happening is a overwhelming force to correct it is born and wipes it all out. The force in the case of this was Nazis.
Dang.
They were just like enough of that shit. And because like I like to look at America as something of a pendulum. You want it to be for the most part balanced. You don't want to go too far either way because it's not good for anybody. Go
Yeah.
too far right and end up living in a theocracy like Islam, where it's like, oh, you didn't do that, stone him. I was like, whoa, cut his head off in the middle of the street. Go too far left, and you end up in Mao's China or Joseph Stalin's Russia, where it's just like, oh, okay, well, just kill that guy, and it's like, yikes, bro. Like there are extremes on every level, and you kind of want to balance. When people talk about the left today is nowhere near the left it was 20 years ago. Now, they've been pushing for it over time, but back then, where the sense of country was higher, you couldn't just get away with it. Like after 9/11, even though that's a contentious topic, after it happened, people had a strong sense of the country. So it's like, you ain't about to just do this, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to fight for my country. Or it's time to go to war. Unfortunate
Yeah.
pretext. But if you look at how Americans handled it post 9/11, they're just like, nah, you don't get to do that. versus now everyone seems a lot more lax and inviting and welcoming of people who don't have our country's best interest at heart.
Yeah,
So
yeah, you cooking, man. You are definitely cooking.
yeah, this is the stuff that's like it's hard to talk about because it's like who don't want to listen to me. But like I said,
Well,
this is the good half of the whole thing of the Baby Ink coming
well,
out. So
well. Thankfully, you have your own platform to voice, your own opinion, and it's good to hear.
yeah, so just to kind of bring it back to the role of women, because like I said, it's not that I don't want any women ever in my hobby, because I like women. They make living, when they're not complete bitches, very worthwhile. Because it's like, oh man, 'cause as a man, you want a woman. Like we are social creatures. We don't want to be alone. Yeah, you can have your boys and all that stuff, but eventually you're gonna be like, man, it would be nice to caress some sexy, nice, some titties, or a nice big booty and a beautiful face of a woman that just loves me, who I am willing to go to war to protect.
You
You
know
know?
what, Josh? I think that's a perfect segue for me to ask you about Women's Day. Um, so I was telling Josh before the stream that I wanted to ask him like questions because it's Women's Day about
Yeah,
women, and he told me to surprise him. So whenever you're ready, Josh, I'm going to ask you
yeah.
some questions.
I am ready to be canceled.
All right, chat. Are you guys ready? Okay.
Let's
So
do it.
first question: what do you think is a woman's greatest strength?
Hmm.
Do
Greatest
do
strength.
do 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 do
A
do
woman's
do do.
greatest strength, in my opinion, what it is or what it should be. I'm about to answer like what it should be.
Well, you
So
can answer however you want.
okay, a woman's greatest strength should be her loyalty and support of her man, because we've talked about it before in like a previous stream where I was saying where the women who are seemingly invisible, but their husbands are like taking on the world doing amazing things. That to me, that is like the highest value a woman can be. Excluding, at this point there are no kids, just starting. That's her first priority. That
Okay.
that yeah, to support her man. That's her greatest value. Not working in some shop, not building shit that's gonna fall apart, not defending anything outside of her children. But
Yeah.
yeah.
So I'll answer the question too. Um,
I can do
no,
that just fine on my own, Billy.
yes, I am. I'm trying to get us canceled here. So if I were to answer that question, I think a woman's greatest strength is to be a nurturer. Uh, as a man, we go through so much. We go through the harshest jobs, harshest trials and tribulations, only to support our family.
Mhm.
And sometimes when you come home and you got a woman that's nurturing and understanding and loving, that's something that can't be replicated.
Yeah,
But I think that is a woman's greatest strength.
I agree. It is one of the most, if not the most important.
Yeah. So next question on the lines, I'm gonna ask a sweet baby question.
All right.
So Josh, do you believe in diversity in gaming?
I believe in diversity in gaming only if it is naturally set upon. Now, because I feel like that's a trick question, because when most people ask it, they ask it under the current guise of how diversity is presented. That, fuck no. I am 100% against that. But diversity is one of those things where I think it shouldn't, it's not really something that can be asked, because the nature of our country is diverse. It's not something that needs to be highlighted or pointed out. Because, like I said, back when gaming peaked, we had diversity. It was there. Yeah, the majority of characters or whatever were white guys, but that
Mhm.
didn't stop black guys from playing video games. You know, there the sports had their characters. We had plenty of black. Hell, all of the damn NBA games featured a black basketball player
How
on the
how
cover.
could it not?
Yeah, so it's just like, I mean, when you say like diversity, is like that's like, I know you're not asking it in that way, but it's that question is intentionally loaded in a way that it kind of forces a wrong answer morally. When in
Mhm.
reality, it's like that's not even a question that should be asked, because we are already on that. We all want, or we already have it. So I don't need it. There's no desire for something that we already have in excess. So
Yeah,
I think that if that answers your question properly.
that that does, Josh. Let's see if you
Yeah.
can answer this next question.
All right.
So let me read my notes here. So, Josh, the immortal Afro, do you believe in women's empowerment?
Nope. Nope. Absolutely not.
It's Women's Day, Josh.
I gives zero fucks. But you know what? And let me tell you why.
It's Women's Day.
Look, look, look. The most empowering aspect of the woman is her man. Men empower women by default, but you have to have one. You don't get to be empowered by yourself, because that's not how humans work. Women are empowered by men
Oh,
naturally, just like men are empowered by
oh
their
my
woman.
God.
You know, there's like the way that these people try to frame it is in a way that, like, oh, empowerment, like, oh, um for example, because like this is another one of those loaded questions. I know you're not asking it that way, but this
I'm
generally
not
how it's
here.
asked.
I am not. I am
Because
not
like,
here.
to me, it's like a myth when you say, oh, women's empowerment. How do women naturally go of the average woman on her own free will? Does she go to learn how to shoot a gun? Does she go to learn how to defend herself? Does she goes to build her own business without the help of anybody, just off of the sheer desire to develop and earn more? Does she do that by herself? Hell fucking no. There is no women empowerment. Like, empowerment as it's being sold is it's just like the color purple. You know, Kevin Samuels talked about this a lot. Their empowerment is all, it's an illusion. It's not backed by anything substantial other than the government, another man-made structure. On their own, it doesn't exist. It's not real. Your empowerment comes from your mate, your man. That's why when women, get their man and they're happy, they have their families, they have a sense of purpose. She has been empowered by a man. Women live, breathe, and die by men. We allow it. There's no scenario. There was no point in history where there was like an all women civilization that just rose up and kicked ass. Like, no, a man would have came and destroyed all that shit. So that the Whammon King shit, it's not real. False. There's this story. I don't remember verbatim, but it happened, I think, again during World War II, where an all female infantry squad was sent to defend some location. It was the red some, I can't remember the name. I'll talk to you about it off the stream after, but essentially the only reason that squad was created was to create a diversion. Well, they were under the impression that like, okay, we believe it. We're gonna go over here and defend this location. They knew that location was gone. They just
Damn.
needed someone over there though to distract for there to be enough bodies to like slow down what was about to go down over there. So they sent
Damn.
all the women to their graves, and they went over there under the impression that we are women, we are free. Yes, we can do it, and they just got slaughtered.
Damn.
So that's your women empowerment. Your empowerment is nothing without a man. Next question.
Oh my God. Let me turn off my camera for a second.
I understand.
Okay. Next question. Do you believe there's a pay gap between men and women?
Nope, because women shouldn't be working anyway.
Damn. Let me turn on my camera. Damn.
Like the pay gap as it's constantly being pushed because like that it's a myth. First off, just start there. There can't be a pay gap for a group of people who aren't willing to put in the amount of effort necessary to get paid to that same level. Billy Donuts. But but like for example, because like and we know this because we've worked several jobs. When you put in like okay, am I allowed her
They
like
cut you off, Josh. They cut you off stream. They pull the plug on you. They pull the plug on Josh. They pull the plug on Josh.
I understand. That's
Cut him
why
off.
the truth hurts, doesn't it? but okay, so all right, I'm not gonna use a specific. I'm gonna use a specific example and a guy named Ryan. Okay, feel free to stop me. Can you hear me? I'm coming through. All right.
Yeah, you coming through.
Okay. There's a guy named Ryan. He's a truck driver. His job is really rough. He's got to like unload and load extremely heavy equipment, whether it be food or just shit.
Mhm.
And he gets paid good money, but he has to sacrifice his body for 9 hours a day, every day, right?
Mhm.
Now, for some strange reason, not a lot of women have this position. Him and all his coworkers, his boys at work, they're the truck drivers, while all the women are behind the desk in the nice air-cooled facilities. So it's like if we were to acknowledge that a gender pay gap exists, then an easy fix would be for those same women to take on those jobs. But for some strange reason, they just don't do it. Can't figure out why. Maybe the trucks are too big. I don't know. So
So, so my answer was about to be on the same lines as that. To be honest, women aren't willing to take on the fucked up jobs that men take on.
yeah,
Essentially, uh, you know, for the most part, the more fucked up the job, the more you get paid because nobody wants to do the shit.
yeah,
And like and like for instance, like let's just say that I had a job and I want to
mhm,
tell you about this job. I say, Josh, hey man, I got this job and I'm about to fly into the fucking sun. We're gonna fly into the fucking sun and they gonna pay us to do it. The first response from you would probably be like, hell no, I'm not doing that shit. But the second response is gonna be how much they paying to do that shit.
Yeah, what's the
That's gonna be,
benefits?
and I'd be like, hey, they gonna pay us like $2 billion. You like $2 billion? Hell no, I ain't doing that shit. And then I was like, all right, well, I'm about to fly into the sun tomorrow. I'll see you later, buddy. And I go up there and we don't even go towards the sun. We just fly in front of it a little bit and turn around, right?
Yeah,
and then I come back. Like, all right, Josh, I'm back. And it's like, damn, did you fly into the sun? I'm like, nah, we just flew in front of that shit and came back. And then you'd be like, damn, I should have flew into the fucking sun too.
Yeah, you come back with all that money. I'm like, well, damn,
I'm
shit.
like,
If I had known that was going to turn out that way, I would have been got on there with
yeah,
you.
I would have went into the fucking sun with you. But a woman, they'd be like, fuck that. I ain't going to no fucking sun no matter what.
I ain't leaving this fucking house. You crazy.
But
Now, does there exist
we
a woman that might do that? Absolutely. After
yeah.
about 30,000 years of flying into the sun, once the ship has become super air cooled and the technology has made it better,
Yeah,
absolutely,
it's it's
maybe.
it's for like a good 1%, less than 1% that would like do it. But that's why men make up the majority of the military. That's why we make the majority of the police departments, the fire departments. You know, all the fucked up shit we always do.
Hmm.
The trash men. Are trash men. This is trash men for a reason. Like you don't really hear about trash women, do you?
Yeah, I
Because they're
mean
not willing to do that shit.
yeah, I mean it's been so set in stone. We've literally named the occupation after men.
Trash man.
Yeah,
you
garbage
know?
man, fireman, police
Yeah,
man. It's like,
yeah, exactly. And it's like, women just aren't willing to do some of the things it take to, make the money that a lot of men make. And here's the thing too. A lot of women they scream for equal pay, but at the same time, they want men to make more than them.
yep.
That's the hypocritical thing about it. It's like, you want to make as much as the man, so, you know, why not do the job?
Well,
You
they
know?
can because like they want to make more, but they also don't want no man who make less than they do.
Yeah, it's
Like,
like it's so crazy. So if a woman makes $1 million she a year, she wants somebody that makes $2 million a year.
5 million, yeah,
5 million.
10 million, a
Yeah,
100 million. He got to be eclipsing whatever she got so that she can use his resources to make more money or some shit. It's like
yeah.
it's
And it's
it's
like when and when a lot of women do that, it's like they're eclipsing out all of the good men that could potentially be really good for them, as
yeah,
opposed to this 5%, 1% man, you know.
yeah.
But
Who will be happy with the girl from Starbucks
yeah,
who making
exactly.
$12 an hour, working 3 hours a week. It's like, you look very nice to be around. Will you be my wife? She's like, okay. So
I'm working at Starbucks.
rightfully, yeah,
Yeah,
rightfully so. And it's
yeah,
just like that's kind of the
yeah,
damage that feminism has wreaked on civilization,
yeah. It's
specifically
like
women.
I want the same pay as men, but at the same time, I want my man to make more than me. It's like what?
That doesn't make
You
any
make it-
sense.
But this just woman logic.
Hmm.
Oh, oh, I don't even know if I should ask the next question. Oh my god.
Oh, we doing so good, man.
Yeah, I'm about to cut off my camera and leave the stream.
I did not know this man. He tricked me. Said
So,
there was big booty bitches on the stream.
so this next question kind of pertains to your title that you got there, Josh.
Hmm.
Do you think women should stay at home as mothers or working 9 to 5 jobs while taking on motherly duties?
Stay at home as mothers. And this is me like answering like, I guess in a close to perfect world because, removing the current economy aside, because it's
Mm,
hard for anybody to do shit by themselves nowadays. You kind
exactly.
of need two-person income. But if you were to ask me like, oh yeah, what's the best scenario if that wasn't an issue?
Hmm.
Absolutely. Woman, she could stay at home and take care of the kids. That's her top priority. I'm not against a woman working as long as it's not something that's mandatory. Like if it's like, a side gig or hustle that she can maintain, but it's open enough for her to still do her primary job is take care of the kids, hold down the household and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine. I'm not against women being in the labor force as long as their labor force doesn't take away from their primary duty of being a nurturing mother and supportive woman to her man.
Well, the thing is, it definitely does. For I don't want to say a lot of people, but some people.
Mm. It specifically, because of the current uh economic situation, and I still think it's something that's doable, but because we're in the current economic situation that we're in, it's gonna take some real commitment and cooperation between the sexes to pull ourselves out of it. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of it is bullshit, Bidenomics. But that aside, it's like it's definitely possible, and with the right mindset, I think it could recover from it good. But that also requires people to not vote like retards. But that's a different thing. So yeah,
All right, I got two more questions, and then I'll leave you alone.
all right.
All right. So this is a sweet baby question here.
Mm.
Do you need to see someone like yourself in gaming to enjoy gaming?
Fuck no, I suck. I want to play with white Peter Parker. I don't care
White,
about
white.
yeah, who white. I don't care about no black nobody unless it's a character creator. Then I'll take care of that myself. But if the game I think is cool and I play as yeah, exactly, Billy Doe. Yeah, dude, I suck. The only interesting thing about me is this fucking thing on my head. you know, like, wow,
I
that's a
just,
cool afro you got, bro. I'm
I
like, yeah.
disagree. I, I think, I think y'all are cool.
I mean, yeah. I just like in the context of video games where the sky is the limit, creatively think speaking. It's like, yeah, I don't necessarily need some character to be some poor reflection of me. I want that character to be whoever designed that character for their means. I like Spyro the Dragon, not Josh the Dragon. I like Sonic.
You went
Well,
like Spyro, the black dragon.
nah, well, I mean, if he was just like a literal black dragon, where he was like, oh yeah, evil Spyro, well, okay, I
No,
guess
I
it's
mean
pretty cool.
no, I mean African American.
Nope, I don't want no African American dragons. I don't want no some black kid who wants to be a YouTuber or work for a living. I don't want none of that shit. Shenmue,
So
Shenmue, like that dude. I'd rather play as him and work for a living. Pick up the forklifts, ask about the incident.
the incident. What about the incident? I
Yeah,
don't
like
know. Ask Bob up the street. Like, oh
yeah,
shit.
it was like cool shit happened to him. This cool Chinese evil kung fu master killed his dad and was like, "Fight me in the future 4 games from now." I want to do that. That sounds cool. That shit don't happen to
So
me.
I think it's cool to see black characters in gaming. But ultimately, I want to see a good story. A good story with good gameplay, that's coherent and just fun to play through. Just I think I would like that over any type of like diversity or anything like that. But and if it does have diversity in it, let it be natural, kind of like what you're saying, natural to what the game is supposed to be, and it's not forced. It's not something that they just, oh, we got to have a black character because we got a quota, or we
Yeah.
want some money. So
Yep.
it's cool to
Well,
see black people in gaming, but it has to be natural. It can't be like, okay, this is the token black guy, or the
yeah, cause
token black woman. Just make a uh natural game that feels good to play.
yeah, cause like the whole forced inclusion thing to me takes away from any value that black character could have had, because now I know he's not here because the creator of of this product didn't, let's say if if I wanted to make a game and I wanted the main character to be black, or if I wanted a character in the game to be black, it won't be because like, oh man, I forgot I need to make one of these guys black so that I can get that sweet ESG baby, sweet baby money. I want it to be because like in my view of this world that I've created, I decided to make them like that because that's what I wanted. You know, like Raven. When they created Raven, it was like this guy's black and fucking cool. And
Mm,
he is. Like that's a character that Sweet Baby could never make. Like he and all the way back in Tekken 5.
yeah,
And
and
this
it's effortless.
yeah.
Effortlessly cool. He don't have to really just. It's not forced or nothing. He talk like a regular man. This a regular black man. That's a ninja.
hmm
You
and
know.
it's cool. Like, and the stuff he does, it's just like, hey, yeah, you can make y'all all the jokes you want. Ninja, nigga, he blah blah, and like, yeah, whatever. But it's cool, It's just like Billy Donuts, Raven is Blade, cool character. It's just
Yeah.
like, who would have thought? And it's like, no one. That's not something you can make by committee. Someone was like, I think it'd be badass if, and then that character was born.
Yeah.
The sweet baby equivalent would be that ugly ass Miles Morales and that stupid ass haircut that every black character had ever since the Black Panther movie dropped. The
Yeah.
fucking sideways dreads and shit. It's
The
like,
the killmonger.
yeah, because it's like, uh, this is the limit of your creativity when you do shit by committee.
Mm.
Because now no one here, everyone, they're afraid to do things naturally because they might come off a bit racist. And like, well, what's safe and works and is popular? Well, Black Panther sold a lot. All the Negroes like that movie. So let's just do that and keep doing it forever. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay. So
Yeah,
yeah.
man. All right. One last question. Who is the greatest female gaming character?
Ayane.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
She is
I
my
knew you
first.
I had a feeling.
And that's honest because look, like when people ask that, like, you'll never get that answer from any of these other people. Because first of all, none of them know who she is. Second, they would probably say somebody generic and common that most people would know. Oh, Princess Daisy, Samus Aran, Laura Croft. It's like, no, my favorite female character is my first. And when I say my first, like that was when I was like, whew, she's doing a lot of things for me. And it's not just because she's sexy and got big old titties. That helped a lot. But her story, and this is like, not to go off on the whole thing, but me and Cross was talking about this a while ago, and we were both so frustrated because like we're really passionate about games that we like, and so for like an hour and
Yeah.
a
Uh-oh. Josh Josh dropped out. He should be back in just a second. Give it a minute, guys.
I had a feeling it was
Hold on.
coming. Like this
There you
doesn't
go.
like on a timetable,
Yeah.
but. Uh, yeah, so when me and Cross were talking like for an hour and a half, we were just kind of like geeking out about certain characters in Dead or Alive, and I was just like, look, this character, she is a tragic character. Because like, again, just like if let's say if you said that around people who knew who she was, they'd be like, oh, you mean that big titty ninja with the purple hair? It's like, she's way more than that, dude. Like, she has a very tragic backstory that no, not many other characters have. This was back when they weren't afraid to make characters who were like real tragic backstories that are like good, not good, but good tragic backstories builds very unique and interesting characters. Her father raped her mother, and her clan. She was a rape baby, and the clan exiled her. and Genra was just like, I don't agree with the clan. I'm making a move against the clan. I'm going to raise you myself. Genra was the real stepdad, the stepdad that stepped up.
Mm.
And her whole attitude, people are like, yeah, she's just a bitch. Like, there's a reason for that, dude. You know, when you're like exiled from a clan for something you have no control or power over, they kind of it tends to make you a little spiteful. Ah, you know. So like her story, like her fighting style, everything about this character, gorgeous character, went through this whole arc of trying to be her own self because she was always in the shadow of her sister, who was the true daughter of so and so. And keep in mind, like her mother never acknowledged her. Like her whole time growing up, she was just like, "Yeah, I just came out of thin air." And then her mother told her, like, "Actually, I'm your mom. Sorry." And she's just like,
Mm.
"Why? So my sister gets all this shit, and
Mm.
what the fuck is it?" And I'm like, dude, that would have destroyed any other character. But she was like, you know what? Fine, fuck it. I'm going to become my own person. And yeah, I hate Kasumi for a fucked up reason. Can't hold that against her. Only everybody in the village lied to her. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's like stuff like that. Like that's a character that none of these fucking hacks could ever create because they're too afraid to touch anything controversial, and they would make her ugly, stupid, extremely smart and powerful just because. When the actual reason why this character is so powerful is because of her history, her upbringing, and how she had to deal with it. And then when she was featured in Ninja Gaiden, like when I first saw her, I was like, "That's Ayane's kunai. What? Ayane's in this game?" And then like, since she's been exiled, so she was basically a supporter ninja. And Ryu was like, "I'll, she'll work with me because the rest of y'all are bitches anyway."
Mm.
So she had her support group. So it's just like, dude, she phenomenal character.
Mm.
And then on top of all that, she was fine as fuck. So it's just like,
Okay.
so it's like, that's a whole thing. She will always be my first. Yeah, everyone
Okay.
likes their Chun Li and the fucking Laura Croft, and they're great. I'm not taking nothing away from them. But for me, for Josh, it's Ayane.
Okay. It's okay. I got you. I got you. You went deep into that one. Well, the greatest female gaming character ever is Laura Croft. I will stand by that forever. She
Hmm.
was like one of the first, to me, iconic female characters. You got
Hmm.
Chun Li, of course, and others, but Laura Croft was like the face of like the strong female character.
Yeah.
Um, and then like her games were so fun to play. Uh, the movement was unlike anything at the time. And honestly, I still feel like the movement is like it's unlike anything at that time. I can't even think of a game that really moves like Tomb Raider does. Especially, I'm talking about the old one too.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. They recently came out with the HD or the remaster or whatever.
yeah, I saw that. I saw that. But
Mhm.
just her design, I felt like she was Dante before Dante with the dual pistols,
Oh yeah, fighting dinosaurs and shit. It's
fighting
like,
dinosaurs, and whatever. The exploration was cool. Like the game was just like too iconic. Like I said, her whole design is just iconic.
yeah,
And she was a hot character on top of all of that, like as you would say.
yeah. Like there are so many layers with these female characters, and then at the end of it all, it's like, and then she's hot. It's
Yeah.
like, so like that's phenomenal. But
I
these,
mean, but when you think about female characters, is there any female gaming character that's just really not hot?
well, recently, yeah, ever since Sweet Baby stepped in, like Harley Quinn got downgraded. That new female lead for what's Microsoft game? It's what is that game?
Oh, Fable.
Yeah, Fable looked like she got
Terrible.
punched in the face, man. She was like, eh. I was like, Okay.
Oh, see now that you said it, like all of the ugly female characters are coming up. Like
Mm,
what's her face from Last of Us 2?
yep. The
Abby.
big, yeah, the big freaking
Abby
woman.
is terrible looking. Who else? I would say Marissa, but they got mods and stuff for Marissa. So
Well, but that's not because of her. That's not because of them. Like Marissa is exact. Yeah, correct. Marissa. So, yep. Yep. And it's just like because like she has a body of a man. It wasn't until that new costume came out, after everybody done modded and corrected, where they like, well, okay, we guess we'll make it look like a woman now. It's like too
yeah,
late,
it's too late
you know.
now. It's like I want this manly woman to look like a woman.
It's like no one. There is a fringe minority of people who find that attractive, and they don't play video games.
Mm,
What they do is draw weird art, and you've seen it. Like that's where they hang out at. Like yeah, we got Marissa, but it's like they don't need it. But whatever. I don't want to speak on that because it's like it's weird.
Lady over Laura Croft, she's a demon hunter that killed her own father. Yeah, but Lady is not more iconic than Laura Croft.
I will give them
Not
that though.
not not even not even at the slightest.
And that is that like your lady? Is that your female character, Billy? Because that's a good. She's good. Because like she's another character who's like wrecked with a tragedy. Or when we first saw her, she was just like buff. So she was like, yeah. Dante was like, hey, bam. She was like, this bitch just shoot me in the face. Yeah, says, yeah, fuck off, demon. I don't give a fuck. He's like, all right, shit, fine. And she over here kicking ass, and I'm like, that's how you write a female character. It's like,
Now,
and she doesn't have an attitude about it. Like, I don't need no man. She's just like completely driven by her desire to get back at her daddy. It's personal.
yeah. Now, I will give honorable mention to Bayonetta. Bayonetta, she's a bad bitch. For
Oh
real.
yeah, and again, another product of hey, it would be cool if.
Yeah, it'd be
And
cool if we had this witch that like was almost a stripper
yeah,
and did
because
magic
and she was a witch.
and had
No, look,
guns on her shoes. That's like the coolest thing though. The guns and on the heels. Whoever designed her like really did some cool shit.
well, Dustin Boy, he's right here. Bayonetta's concept artist is a female as well, Mari Shimazaki. She also did concepts for June and Tekken 8.
Oh shit.
She is good.
You know what? I was wondering why Zafina kind of looked like Bayonetta a little bit.
Yep.
She probably did designs for Zafina too.
Yeah, because she's like damn near, like for like from Bayonetta.
Yeah,
You can kind of see
yeah.
her influence.
Because I know they got like the custom. Like, did you see the Bayonetta custom for Zafina?
Yeah.
He looks dead like
Yeah, just
Bayonetta.
give her them glasses, and it's just like, damn, they knew what they were doing.
Yep.
So, absolutely.
Well, that's all I got for Women's Day. This glorious day where they totally skip over Men's Day. When the fuck is Men's Day?
there is no Men's Day. You want to know why? Every day is Men's Day. So
Oh,
we just need to make it clear. Every day is Men's Day. You only have a Women's Day because we allow you to have one, not because you actually deserve one.
I was talking to Josh earlier, and I was like, "Man, what do we get for Men's Day when it comes around?" And I was like, "More bills to pay, and fucking socks." That's
Yep.
what we get.
Yep. I hope you making more money, man. If you don't, I'll leave you. All right. Whatever. Are we canceled yet? I don't know. We still live, so
Yeah. Well, Josh got canceled a couple of times.
yeah, man. It's like
They
what's
pulled the
going
plug
on?
on Josh a couple of times.
It's like 8 times now. I was like, what's going on? What's really going on?
Turn him off now.
Like, get him out of here.
He's talking too much truth.
Yeah,
Well,
I think
that's all
it's
I got. What you got, man? Got anything else?
well, I mean, we kind of covered a lot of the main shit that's been going on. Like we should probably, revisit it in a more you know, a more detailed manner. But as far as that, I think we covered a lot more than I was expecting us to cover. So I'm gonna definitely gonna have to clip this and get some shorts out there so then we can really risk getting canceled.
Yeah,
So,
this has been super
but
fun. I'm gonna have to
yeah.
gather some more questions to get us canceled.
Yeah, I like the questions, man. Like, I'm like, just fuck it, come and get me, cause like
Yeah.
they'll look right over me for now until I start making. Once I start getting 20, 30,000 subscribers and making noise, they can be like, "Hey, man, tell that nigga to shut up." get that, get that. They gonna do this. What they gonna do the same thing to me that they did to Manning Johnson in that book.
Damn.
So it's like, hey, man, we don't like those like black guys that can think, who knows too much,
Yeah.
educated. Just like, nah, get them out of here, man. They fuck up too much shit. Those Thomas Sowell types, get them out of here.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think that's it. I'm looking through my banners. We kind of mm, did we kind of do this?
Um, kinda, but not really.
Okay, well let's end on this one. Let's wrap it up with this banner.
So what needs to happen?
When it
Y'all
comes
just
to
going
gaming,
to gaming
gaming,
with Sweet Baby or just gaming in general?
yeah, sweet baby. He said they're gonna get her first. He asked too many
I'm
questions.
innocent. Turn on my camera. I'm not here.
It's all a fluke.
This is
But
man. This is AI. This is AI here.
yeah, we're gonna catch her on the street. Like, were you doing this? Like, what? Who used my face to do all that?
My voice. This mysterious person. I need to get that bandit, that fame.
Yeah, but it, in regards to Sweet Baby, what actually needs to happen, starting with them, is the complete and utter annihilation of anything associated with or tied to Sweet Baby, BlackRock, ESG, all that shit has to go. Realistically, what I think is going to happen or what has to happen is there needs to be, like I've mentioned before, a complete divorce from the current modern gaming industry because it's too big it's not worth saving because of how large it is. It's one of those things, the best thing you can really hope for is a collapse, but even then, like, that's gonna either take too long or it's not gonna happen in a sufficient way that's gonna warrant us still being there. So I think we're better off uh, creating our own means of gaming industry that is separate and properly gate kept for real, away from any influences that could, hinder our resolve in creating fun entertainment that prioritizes creativity, just like Dosa Boy said, like gameplay over narrative, because these are video games, not movies. You can have a good narrative, but it has to be a game first.
Yeah.
But I prefer to play a good game with a bad story rather than an okay game with an unnecessary woke elements. Yeah, because
God
Mhm.
Hand. Oh my God.
Yeah,
God Hand. God Hand
perfect.
is so fun to play, and that
Yep.
story is terrible.
Make it doesn't have to be
It's
good.
terrible. But I would play that over anything.
Yep, I play
God
that
Hand is
over
so good.
Spider-Man 2 any day. I'm like, yeah,
Bro.
why play this whack ass Spider-Man game when I could run over here and punch niggas in their balls and send them to
Or
the moon?
knock somebody to the moon with a baseball bat. That game is insane.
Yeah, but
But go ahead, I'm sorry.
oh, you good. But as Billy Donut says, like, yeah, a crash isn't really like It'd be nice, but it's very unlikely. We have to really corner and have a good hold on the indie gaming scene because that's really the only space right now where games can be done primarily by the the, the developer without much influence from companies or corporations like BlackRock. I think they're going to make an effort to try to get there, but because indies are kind of hard to control, because anybody can make it. Sit in my room and like, I just came up with a game, or a group of my friends came together. We had a project that we try to pull off. You can't really control for that, so that's a good place to start. And what I would like to do, I'm not sure if it's a good idea. I think it is, but it's one of those things where I kind of want to sit and think on it a little bit because I don't necessarily want it to be something that's consolidated that'll make it easy to attack. I want it to be kind of nebulous, but we are all under the same umbrella of belief of how games should be made. But you know, that aside, it's it's one of those things where the only way we're going to get ahead or do anything is by going out of our way to defend our.
Okay, I think Josh just dropped out. She'll be back in just a sec. Hold on.
Man, that's weird. That's annoying. But all right, am I good?
Yeah, you good. We can hear you.
Okay. Just for that reason, Devolver is a saint in the video game market. Yeah, because a lot of the stuff I'm talking about probably already exists in some fashion, and we just need to fortify that. So, but yeah, essentially, I think the indie scene is the future of gaming entertainment, and we all just and we can't it can't be us all because a lot of people are just consumers, and their value is going to be unreliable. So our base has to be our base, and we sell it to the consumers or whatever. But as far as like who's controlling our games, it has to be our people. So we can't be manipulated by corporate interest, investors. Like I think for a better gaming future, that has to be just something that we just can't let happen because investors are too they're not trustworthy, because their whole end game is money. And if they're loosely tied to somebody like BlackRock or Vanguard with the whole ESG thing, then we're screwed. That's what happened with BioWare. You know, they got one game out, but Mass Effect that was great, and then EA was like, "Well, we can help you. Look at all these resources we got. We'll give you." And then then BioWare died. So I don't make enough money to mindlessly consume. But me neither. So we be smarter consumers, but we don't necessarily have to be. We don't have to want to control consumers to purchase that way. We only purchase what we want, and it's easier for us because we already don't got that much money. But it's also a matter of we're a lot more keen to what we want, and we have to create what we want. It can't just be us consuming. Like we kind of, I think, us older gamers that are in our 30s, since we've experienced the height of gaming, it's kind of our responsibility. I'd like to think that we take it upon ourselves to create more games so that the younger generation has something to look forward to instead of always being sucked up by stuff like Fortnite and live service, so that they understand the value of owning their own game and not being stuck on the internet in order to play games because like they don't know what that means. They don't know what it means to have a game and access it on your time versus the servers are down or the game didn't do well enough so they pulled it and then all that shit.
So, me, the greatest thing about this time right now, it seemed like everybody's starting to wake up and reject the things that are trash, like the Marvels, trash, Madam Web, trash, like
Yeah, I
all of
heard
these
about
things. All of these things are coming out, and people are saying like, "Fuck that! No, I'm
that.
not seeing that. I'm not giving you my money."
Yep.
Same thing with gaming. The Suicide Squad. WB just came out and said, "Oh, well, this shit didn't make the money we wanted to make." Of course, because you're putting out bullshit.
Yeah.
So
You hear their latest statement?
no, I didn't.
They're gonna double down on live service type games.
Well, shit. Hey, they can do what they want to do as long as people know what it is and say, "Fuck that, you're not getting our money."
Mm.
As long as these companies are like not catering to us, we don't need to give them our money. They're not doing the things we want to do. Don't give them your money.
Yep.
So, like the curator tool that guy created from Brazil is a great step to kind of filtering out who's fucking over the games. So if
Yeah.
you can find out who's fucking over your games, you can avoid them games like the plague.
Yep.
So uh, better tools to figure out what games to buy and not buy is great. So I love that tool that he made. Um,
Yeah.
also,
Definitely find it on Steam curators. Just type in
yeah,
"Sweet Baby Detector."
yeah, I'm actually going and download that. But like another thing is now that we know who the villain is. We know Sweet Baby is the villain. Of course, there's going to be more. We need to figure out who these people are and put them under the damn detector. Whoever is messing up these games, put them under a damn detector or whatever. But so many times, like we'll learn the truth about something, and then time passes on, and everybody seems to forget. It's like,
Hmm.
don't forget. Keep keep your eyes open and keep fighting a good fight, man. So, people like you, people like Ademion, Doomcock that are spreading the word, keep spreading the word out because I feel like them doing the work, you doing the work is actually making an impact. And now
Yeah.
that like I said, we know with the Sweet Baby thing and it's like the masses are figuring out what's going on. It's like their impact and your impact is becoming bigger and bigger each day. So, to those people that's continue to fight the good fight, keep on fighting. We need y'all really.
Yeah, I definitely need to get more active, make more videos on a regular basis, because I've kind of subjected myself to the fucking wait for shit to kind of happen, but I don't want to do that. But part of it is like, I'm just kind of lazy, and I shouldn't want that because yeah, I want gaming to survive. Like gaming is something that I hold very near and dear to my heart, and it really hurts to see it go the way it is. But instead of treating it as like, oh man, this sucks, and oh well, it's I want to get into I do want to do it for the next generation because we got lucky. Gaming, we just happen to be born at a time for gaming to be too new to be taken seriously.
It's pure. It was in its purest form.
Yeah, like it was like there was no desire to invade it until it became big. But by then, it's like, well, luckily, I had the right mindset to catch on to it and understand what was happening. Took my licks or whatever, but now it's like now armed with this knowledge and information, I shouldn't just waste it. You know, you have to talk more about it, make people more aware, but also be very you know, not necessarily not be too inviting because the whole inclusivity and stuff, all this stuff sounds good on paper, and it is because naturally it is. It's kind of it's what made America such a unique country. But
Mm.
and you can apply that to uh uh groups, fandoms, all that stuff because like yeah, it's cool to have a fandom where you have all these different people who like the same thing. It's like, yeah, yeah, I'm black or whatever, but I love Batman. I love this white rich guy who gets to who beats up fucking niggas in the middle of the street stealing shit. So it's like, yeah, it's great, but we have to. well, I don't want to say we have to, but just it's something you have to be more aware of. You have to have the mindset, and it has to be for each individual person. I can't just like let's blanket, let's all do this. Like, no, do your own thing, but we have to have the right know with all to come together when it comes to this particular thing to like focus on who our enemy is. In the case, it ain't just Sweet Baby. This is the Sweet Baby is just the latest iteration of what has been literally going on for over a decade.
Yeah,
You know, like I was talking to you about it. Like, there's a lot of history with this particular issue that people need to become a little more aware of instead of just associating Sweet Baby. Like, let's say we take out Sweet Baby, and people like, yeah, we beat them, and it's like you didn't do anything. I mean, yeah, take your victory lap, but understand that this is just one head of the Hydra. The Hydra's
yeah,
been cooking for over 10 years,
yeah.
and they won't leave until we get some Hydra raid edition. Like, I'm talking exterminate, wipe them off the face of the planet.
Yeah.
But you know, and I ain't gonna lie, man. Like, I really want to play Helldivers 2, but for a specific reason, I don't want to buy it because fucking anti cheat. It's the only thing ruining that game. But Helldivers,
That anti cheat.
yeah, it has a rootkit level anti cheat that installs on your computer that you can't uninstall normally, and I don't
What?
I don't like that. Yeah, that's
So what's wrong with the anti cheat?
anti cheats are software that's kind of used to make sure that there's no way for you, because it's like an online type game that uses things that where everyone who plays this game contributes to a goal, and
Yeah.
so they install that anti cheat so somebody doesn't get on there and their ability to cheat doesn't also contribute to that goal for all these people. But the problem
Mm.
is that it monitors all the shit depending on what it is. It monitors everything you do on your machine. And it's like,
What?
yeah, it's one of the reasons why I don't
Wow.
play too many games on Windows, because Windows itself, they have keyloggers and shit that tracks everything you do. And it's
Wow. I
like,
didn't know that.
yeah, and the anti cheat is just it's a piece of software. They'll sit here and tell you like, oh, it's just to make sure people don't cheat. It's like, oh, you don't need root level access to my personal computer in order to do that.
Yeah.
You could have just made a game to where we could just play it. That's ugh. But it's stupid. Doesn't hold on, let me some of these comments. Back when games were made out of passion rather than reinforcing some political agenda.
Yep.
Yep. I love
Facts.
I love how Narc was marketed. And doesn't it monitor your keyboard at all times? I don't know specifically what it does. The fact that it has root level access is enough for me to just be like, no thanks, because I don't know what you're doing. Like, maybe it does. I don't know what it does. I'd rather just not be there. you
Yeah.
know, they could have used a different version of anti cheat that isn't as invasive, but they chose to go with that one that I heard of. Because like once I was about to get it, I was talking to my friend Chris, or Young Sykes. And he was like, "Yeah, man, you should get it." I was like, "Man, that looks great. I love Starship Troopers." And then did a little bit of
I do too.
research.
So is that what it is? Like that's what it
Essentially,
makes. Oh snap!
yeah,
I
yeah,
love
and
Starship Troopers. It's one of my favorite films of all time.
that's because like I was ready to pull the trigger until I saw that shit. I was just like, "Fuck," because I'm thinking like since I have two machines, I'm like maybe I'll just put it on the Windows machine. But I haven't decided yet because like I ain't putting that shit on my main computer. But yeah, I mean if you got it on the console, you're fine. But you know,
Yeah.
got to get a console. But but
Which
other than that,
not happening.
the game looks amazing because I'm like, yeah, spread democracy. Let's get this white man and take over. Like they're good at doing, man. The shit it's just the right thing to do.
Is there any black men in this Hell Divers?
Well, yeah, just whoever you want.
Oh,
But
okay.
the if you saw, in fact, let's watch the trailer. I think you'd like it because as soon as you see it, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, that's it. That's what I want.
I feel like I've
Because
I've seen a trailer, but it didn't show much.
Well, it doesn't show much, but it comes off very Starship Troopers, and that's kind of just seeing that trailer was like, oh, you almost made me buy it right then and there, man. It's a good trailer. Like you could tell they're fans of Starship Troopers, like to a T.
So it's the first Helldivers like this?
I have no idea. Like since this is Helldivers 2, I'm going to take
Nobody
a.
nobody gave a shit about Helldivers 1, did it?
Well,
Like,
it be like that sometimes because you're like nobody gave a shit about Dead or Alive 1, but 2, that's the one that everyone played. So same thing with what's another 2 game that just blew up over the second one? Spyro, Ripto's Rage. That's everyone's favorite Spyro game. You
oh,
know.
Wild Arms 2.
Yep, because it's like that's one you got it on. 2, did you go back and play 1? Nope. I bet you Helldivers 1 don't look nothing like that game. But hopefully the shit won't, cut off the me and the stream, but we'll see. All right, let me know if you can see it. All right.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, so this is a Helldivers. Where is it?
Super Earth, our home. Prosperity.
Oh yeah, that's definitely Starship Troopers.
Yeah.
there. Democracy, our way of life. Oh, hello. But freedom doesn't come free. No! Sweet liberty! No! Look familiar? Scenes like all over the galaxy right now. You could be next. That is, unless you make the most important decision of your life. Prove to yourself that you have the strength and the courage to be free. Join the Helldivers. Become part of an elite peacekeeping force. See exotic new life forms. And spread managed democracy throughout the galaxy. Become a hero. Become a legend. Become a Helldiver.
Okay, okay. I see what you're saying there.
Yeah, man. Like,
That's funny.
after I saw that, I had to go back and watch Starship Troopers. I was like, man, what a great movie. But yeah, exactly, Dosa. It's an example of a game done right. It's
What
like
was the line in Starship Troopers? The only good bug is a dead bug. Is that it?
Yeah, I'm doing my part, little kid. Oh,
That's dope.
yeah. Billy Donuts. I played Helldivers 1. It was a top-down shooter. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh god, it's kind of whack. No, I'm gonna say it was not my taste.
Yeah.
Top down shooter. Well, actually, it depends. Was it like Contra or was it like real time strategy?
I think top-down would fall probably closer to real-time strategy, given like how it's looking. It's one of those isometric top-down shooters, kind of like Asteroid. It kind of looks like that, where you just run around or fly around shooting.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, this it's almost like a what do you call it? Hold on, am I still there?
Yeah, you're still there, but your screen is black.
Oh, they
Uh-oh. Well, Josh will be back in just a second, which is right now. There we go.
Yeah, this is weird. Yeah, because I saw, I got the other the monitor up, and I saw it was black. I'm like, what the hell? They
Yeah.
getting clever. But
Yeah, that was a dope trailer. I can't even lie. That made me want to play.
yeah, and like seeing people, people playing it, they having fun, man. Just the boys out there killing bugs, calling down orbital strikes, accidentally killing each other. It looks like a lot of fun. It's just like, man, that anti-cheat, man. That's just like another issue that's plaguing gaming. It's like they use games to push certain software. It's just like, dude, I don't need that on my computer, dude. Like that's ugh. Stop doing
Yeah.
that. Like I just want to play the game and then fuck off. But I can't do that because you guys gotta leave a piece of something else. They're like, yeah,
Yeah.
there's a present from us. Like, oh, what's it doing? Shh, stop asking so many questions.
Yeah, that's ugly. Well, man, we're approaching a little over 3 hours. I think
Yeah,
it might be past my bedtime.
past mine too, man. Just like we talked about earlier. Yep, about 2 hours passed. But I'll get some clips and stuff and put it because I think I had a lot of fun doing this one. Can't wait to
Yeah.
get canceled because
Yeah.
clearly, yeah, it went too far, whatever you want to call it. But it needs to be said because now that this whole Sweet Baby thing is out in the open, and the average gamer or whatever can see it for what it is, and they're just like, oh shit, well, perhaps maybe there's a lot more to this shit that's going down. I'm like, well,
Yeah, there's definitely been an agenda for a long time.
it's definitely a rabbit hole, but seek and thou shalt find.
Mm.
But anyways, if you have any closing statements,
Well, you can find me on YouTube at H3 The Game. You can find me on Twitch under H3 The Game as well. It's a great stream. I love doing this, man. I really do. I
yeah,
appreciate you having me.
yeah, man. Thanks for coming on, man. We're trying to get back to doing this weekly because we took that month-long break, and it's like, yeah, it wasn't supposed to happen.
Tired.
Yeah, but we
Super
can't be
tired.
tired, man. We got to be like those hell divers. We want gaming to be free. Join us. But anyways, folks, that'll wrap it. That'll do it for today's stream for Gaming for the Boys. As you can tell with the title, there needs to be some changes around here. It's gotten room is a little too full of estrogen. We need to clear this shit out. But join
Not
us
on
next.
Women's Day.
Yes, on Women's Day. This is the perfect day, so everyone understands exactly where we stand or where I stand. There's no misunderstanding. Look,
Cut my camera off.
we want gaming to be great again. So you know what comes with that. But anyways, folks, I am your Moral Afro Josh. This here is my co-host H3 The Game, and we'll see you on the next upload. Thank you for joining us, and take it easy. Peace. I guess hit my outro. I never have this jump ready. All right, here we go. All right, y'all have a good one.
All right.